Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the first elimination race of the 2025 playoff season. We only lose 2 in this format as well, and coming into it as well, these are how the points currently stand. Corey Heim and Layla Riggs are in on confirmed wins. Daniel Hemrick is 51 up from Ty Majestic, 46. Grant Enfinger 29. Tyler Anrum is 29 up. Caden Honeycutt 18 up. And Raj Karuth 14 up as well. The 2 drivers at the cut line today, Jake Garcia is 14 back with Chandler Smith 24 back. A lot of drama, a lot of intrigue coming into today. Let's join our colleagues down at MRN for today's action.
Stay there and just got to be clean on pit road and restarts all day and should have a shot. So very thankful for Tricon, Toyota, Safe Flight for all their efforts, and I'm looking forward to it.
Even though Corey said he's not quite sure where he's at right now leading into this race, never count him out. He's always one to watch, and of course he's leading the field to green today.
We could only hope that we get the kind of finish in the truck race that we did for the modifieds. Tyler Ripkema wins his first race, bumps Justin Bonsignor out of the way in turn 3. Bonsignor retaliates down the front stretch, and they both end up crashed against the wall going across the finish line. Hollywood all the way.
Mark, isn't that just a normal Loudon finish for the modified cars? Are you making a big deal out of that? It was his kid's first win ever. You know, I mean, if you're going to do it right here in front of all of these modified fans and make your first win battling somebody and then crash when it's all over with, fade to black.
And then you give everybody the problem. How do you say his last name again? Ripkema? Yeah,
you're doing a great job of that.
There we go.
I'm not even.
But I practiced I was in the bathroom doing it like 1,000 times so I could get Tyler Ripkema right. Great finish to the modified race. Ross Chastain has joined us, and you have this particular weird look on your face right now. So
listen, I walk in, y'all are talking about the bathroom. I don't want to know what was happening before I put this headset on, but now it makes sense, guys. I was out at the merch trailer just signing autographs for the fans, and as the modified fans came out of the grandstands, they were electric. And I was asking our group, what happened? And none of us knew, so now it's good to know. And, there was a guy recently that we also couldn't say his last name, Van Gisbergen, and it turned out to be pretty good. So
well, he was good enough to shorten it to SVG, though. That made it kind of easy.
Maybe our modified winner will do that down the road.
I tell you what, we'll have more pre-race from the Magic Mile coming up right after this.
Get ready to rev your engines, NASCAR fans. The thrill, the speed, the action. You can now experience it all for free on the NASCAR channel on Tubi. All-day access to NASCAR action, streaming classic moments, iconic rivalries, and behind-the-scenes stories from the greatest drivers. Best of all, it's completely free. Stream anytime, anywhere on your favorite fast platform. No fees, no strings, just NASCAR. Find the NASCAR channel on your streaming device and start watching today.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered, NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Chris Wilner. Join me each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We'll also talk with rising stars from your favorite short track. Once again, it's NASCAR Coast to Coast. And you can watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or on your favorite podcast platform.
From the Magic Mile in Loudon, New Hampshire, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
On Thursdays, NASCAR Live goes wide open with some of the biggest names in the sport.
The goal is the same, so the mindset's the same. All right, the goal is to win the championship.
And some familiar voices that you might not have heard from in a while.
I thought about going to one of these teams because I'd really like to win the 500.
I never planned any of this to start with, right from the very beginning.
No matter what driver or what era is your favorite, NASCAR Live Wide Open has every corner of the fan base covered. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Welcome back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Mark Garrow with Pat Patterson and Ross Chastain high atop the Magic Mile on an absolutely beautiful day. Not quite fall yet. I think we have to wait until Monday, but the leaves have started to turn, and it is such a pretty place to be this time of year. As we look at the top storylines coming into this race, it has been the Corey Heim Lane Riggs show the last 7 weeks. They're the only two drivers that have won. Heim, 4 trips to victory lane, 3 for Riggs. Is this, Ross, a glimpse of what could be the championship showdown in Phoenix?
I think those two for sure. I think look no further than your top 4 qualifiers for your big 4 in my mind. Add in Chandler Smith in starting second today. Add in Ty Majeski starting third. I believe you're going to have to go through those 4 if you want to go to Phoenix, and you're going to have to go through those 4 if you want to win this race today.
That is if Chandler Smith can make it into the second round. He comes into this round 22 points below the cut line. Jake Garcia minus 14. Pat, Garcia looks like there's some math, easy math, that could put him above the cut line. How about Chandler Smith? Is it win to get in for him or not?
I think he's got to be really good this afternoon, and he certainly needs to be, I'm guessing, somewhere near the top 5 to get, to move on. I talked to Jake Garcia this morning. Coming out of Bristol last week, I asked him, I said, you must be feeling kind of down. How do you make yourself get back up on the wheel? He said, Pat, it's not true. He said, I take what we did at Bristol last week, and I build on that. He said, we ran well. We led. We were on the pole. We won the first stage. He said, I'm bringing that same kind of attitude here. So I give Garcia a good chance this afternoon to move on here at Loudon.
So, again, did you answer Chandler win to get in, or can he point his way somehow?
I think that he's got to, he's going to have to be up there in the top 2, and there's some other people that are going to have to help him, and that is have some problems. But as Ross will attest to, for a group of racers that not many of them have got a lot of laps here, the potential for something to happen is certainly there, right, Ross?
All right, so what do you think, Ross? Can Chandler Smith point his way in, or does he have to get a trip to victory lane?
He can point it. I go back to Darlington. He was leading the race, blows the right front tire. That kind of speed is what it's going to take. I think he needs upwards of top 2 in the stages, so at least 18 points total in stage points today to set himself up for the end of the race to have a shot at getting in on points. But it's going to take the speed in the 38 with the potential to win if he wants to.
And a little help, right? He's got to have some of these guys have a problem or two to get there as well. Let's talk tires. We've had only 4 sets of tires for this race. It's not a long race, but still 4 sets of tires. How do you see that playing out?
I think with 3 stages, all within 10 laps of each other, 55, a little around 50 laps for the second stage, taking out the cautions, maybe high 40s, and then that last stage setting up to be around 60 laps of green flag racing if we go green. You've got 1 set to play with, so where you use it, that's up to you.
And, Ross, yesterday, a 50-minute practice session, and the fall-off, according to almost everybody that I talked to, was even a second on the tires. So a lot of question about just how long tires are going to last here before they kind of level off, if you will.
And I can attest to this track, no matter what race car you bring to it, it's so flat. The straightaways are long enough, high enough speed, and the bumps entering the corners, it is hard to get these Goodyear Eagles to grip in the corners, so new tires will be better.
Time for our pit road preview. First up, let's go to Heather DeBow.
Well, one guy you guys haven't talked about yet is the playoff driver, Caden Honeycutt, in that numbered 52 machine. Caden told me earlier, he said even though they haven't cracked a top 10 so far in round 1, he said at Bristol, before they went into it, they were below the cut line. Now they're 18 points above it. So he said we've been fast week to week. We just haven't executed a whole race yet. But he does believe today's race could be an equalizer of sorts given the amount of drivers who have limited experience here. He said one driver he leaned on for insight this week is none other than Christopher Bell, who has won here in the trucks and twice in the Cup Series, which he said those two had a great conversation, and he gave him a lot of insight on how this place races and what he thinks will help him approach Loudon for the first time. And in talking to his crew chief, James Villeneuve, he said their goal today is big picture. We need to survive and advance. But one thing that might help them today is guess who's here on site? Stuart Friesen back for the first time at the racetrack after that horrific accident in the Big Block Modified. The team is excited to have him here. James told me it's like having your brother back home. He said, obviously we keep in contact with him week in and week out, day to day, but to have him here, give him a hug, put our hands on him, see him in person is a huge boost for the morale of the team. So that might be the extra push they need, not only to advance, but maybe even get a win here at Loudon. Alan Cavana?
Well, Heather, the playoff standings mean different teams are on different agendas. And for Daniel Hemrick and his team, they come in plus 50 to the cut line. They are very confident in their agenda that they can advance to the next round as long as they avoid catastrophe today because they are in such a good position. His crew chief, Kevin Bellicourt, told me they brought a special truck with a special setup, all tailored around the Phoenix race that will ultimately crown the champion. This is the same right side tire they're going to use in Phoenix. So teams that are in position, like the 19 truck, can use this as something of an experiment to learn maybe something if they are in position when it comes to Phoenix to win a championship. So the 19 team on an agenda today to learn as much as they can to hopefully be in position in a few weeks to win that title in Phoenix, guys.
And Daniel Hemrick, although we haven't run trucks here since 2017, of the guys in the field, he's got the most experience, having run Cup and some Xfinity here since then as well. Hemrick plus 51, Majeski plus 46, they're in. Plus 29 for Enfinger, Tyler Ankrum, I think they're in. Plus 18, Caden Honeycutt, that's a little bit iffy. Rajah Caruth, even though he's had 2 top 15 finishes, only 14 points above the cut line. We talked about Garcia minus 14, Chandler Smith minus 22. How do you feel about Enfinger and Ankrum? At plus 29, they safe?
I think so. You can't go out early. You can't be in the 30s for a finishing position with a cut tire, with a motor issue with your Ilmore engine or a driveline issue. You just cannot be in the 30s. I think if they're in the 20s in a finishing position, they make it.
So then Caden Honeycutt, Rajah Caruth, plus 18, plus 14. That's into tweener land right there.
Well, when I look at Rajah, I just don't see the speed it's going to take. He's executing well on his side. I just don't see from Bono Mannion and him and their team. I'm not seeing the laps led. I'm not seeing running inside of the top 5 like we see these other championship contenders. Caden Honeycutt, different story. A lot of speed out of that 52 truck ever since he stepped in it in relief of Stuart Friesen, leaning on a guy like Christopher Bell, the best driver at this racetrack in my whole group in the drivers of this generation right now. So I think that is a great thing that Caden has went to see Bell. He's gotten that advice, and now, Christopher's won in everything he's sat in here across all 3 series. The only thing he hasn't is modified is because he never ran one.
Yeah, I think when you talk about Rajah, and I spoke with him this morning as well, and Alan asked him the questions a few minutes ago, offense or defense. I think he's got to go. I really do. I think you'll find, and he even said this, if you sit amongst the squirrels back here in the back, you will end up in a bad spot, especially on this racetrack where somebody gets under you, can't hold on to what they got, slide up into you, and can ruin your day really, really fast here. You need to find a good way around this racetrack, a safe way around, so to speak, and go after it today.
And don't they have to execute? He's had some speeding penalties lately, things like that, where he's, again, the truck has been decent, not great, but you can't have any mistakes either. If you're just good or average, you can't do anything else wrong.
Not when you expect your competitor Chandler Smith, who's 22 points behind, to, he's going to be fast. He's shown it every race. Now, can they execute is a question, but for Rajah, he has to continue, like you said, to execute. And he is only starting 3 points behind, or 3 spots behind Jake Garcia, another guy he's going up against, and he's right there with Caden.
Well, that's going to basically put a wrap on our pre-race show, or at least pretty close to it, all brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com.
Kyle Larson brings his Chevy in 4 tires Sunoco Racing Fuel.
From fueling NASCAR champions on the track for over 20 years to innovating 94 octane, the highest octane on the market. Performance is what Sunoco does. All Sunoco fuel at the pump meets the same top-tier standards as the fuel used in NASCAR.
Here for Ryan Blaney, 4 tires with Sunoco fuel.
From the track to your tank, you can trust Sunoco to help your vehicle perform at its peak.
Hi, I'm Kyle Petty, and I want to tell you about a place that's near and dear to my heart, Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by getting involved today. Whether you know a child who could benefit, want to volunteer, or join our team, you can be a part of something truly special. Learn more by visiting victoryjunction.org.
From New Hampshire Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Inspiring story.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes back to the Daytona International Speedway. He will win the Pepsi 400.
I'm just a pilot, man. You know, I just want everybody to be happy. I want to do good, and hopefully all of my dad's fans enjoyed this. This for all them.
Motor Racing Network's NASCAR Live presents podcast Junior's Journey. Jeff Gordon, a colorful career, 50 years of MRN, the 1993 season, the road to royalty, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Now let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the NASCAR Racing Network. Well, welcome back to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Alongside Ross Chastain, Pat Patterson, I'm Mark Garrow. We've already heard from our pit reporters, Heather DeVoe and Alan Cavana. And now let's bring you another voice that will help us describe all the action today. He's going to get half of the racetrack and maybe the better half. You just don't know. Down in turns 1 and 2, Nick Yeoman.
I appreciate that, Mark Garrow. I think both halves of the racetrack have the potential today to be equally exciting here as we're set to go racing the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. As you mentioned, down here in turns 1 and 2, I'm high above the suites in turn number 1, looking down at this very flat, very wide racetrack here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Plenty wide, about 5 or 6 grooves we saw a year ago in the Cup Series when the inclement weather rolled in and they ran those wet weather tires. This racetrack can get super wide. These truckers, though, they'll try to keep it on the first 2 or 3 lanes to the bottom, though. Very interesting to watch them navigate. You'll hear us talk a lot today about looking for that forward bite, trying to get that run up off the corner. The banking in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 only from 2 to 7 degrees, so it is a very flat racetrack. You can't just throw it into the corner and rely on that banking to get the car to turn. How about the straightaways here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway? 1,500 foot in length, and you heard from some of the drivers like Tyler Ankrum talking about how the bumps have gotten really severe over the years. Heard a lot of drivers talk about, especially going down into turn number 3, just how bumpy it can get. It is a spectacular racetrack, fantastic fall-like weather. Looking forward to covering this one today, guys, as we get set for racing in the Team EJP 175.
All right, thanks, Nick. Looking forward to it. We'll pick them up about halfway down the backstretch and get them through turns 1 and 2, myself, Mark, and Ross, and get them back here by the start-finish line. Real quick, Ross, the bumps in 3 have always been there. They're still there, and they're still knocking people's teeth out of their mouth.
It's something that drivers ask their crew chiefs every time we come here. I remember watching as a fan when I was a kid, drivers talk about turn 3 and seeing those slow motion video of the cars bounce down into 3, the left rear tires. These trucks, the left front, the splitter on the truck will be a problem. If their truck arm mounts are hitting, which is a piece further back underneath the chassis of the truck, if that's hitting, that's a problem. Something the drivers will have to navigate. The winning truck and the slowest truck today will all struggle.
They described the Magic Mile as Martinsville Speedway on steroids. So the straightaways, same length. The turns, they look the same, but do they race the same?
Are you telling me these are the same length as Martinsville?
No.
Okay.
No.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I don't believe so. I think that you have to carry so much speed through the corner that you cannot use the amount of brake pressure you use at Martinsville. That's the first thing, getting in the corner.
So it just makes things a little more interesting.
That's right. Aerodynamics, big play here. We see the modifieds drafting. I was watching the start of the race. I still cannot understand how modifieds draft on a 1 mile flat track, but they do. These trucks not drafting, the best truck will win.
Right now, of course, we want to welcome you into this broadcast on the NASCAR Racing Network again. It is a sun-drenched day here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, so glad you could join us. This is a cutoff race for the Craftsman Truck Series, and, man, we're looking forward to a great event this afternoon. Right now, let's go trackside for our pre-race ceremonies.
Please rise as you are able. Remove your hats, and veterans render a hand salute as the Lexington, Massachusetts Police Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome from Racing with Jesus Ministries, Reverend Dan Petfield.
Before I pray, I just want to mention that NASCAR lost a friend and colleague this week. Please keep the family of Wynn Nelson in your prayers. Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us this gorgeous day for this truck race. And Lord, whether we're behind the wheel of a truck or in the pits or up in the stands, we just pray that you would cover each one of us with your precious blood and keep us all safe and bring us home safely later on. And Lord, each one of us made a choice here today, and that choice was to be here. And we only had that choice because of the men and women that are serving our country at this time. Lord, we pray that you would bless and keep them, protect them, bring them home safe to us so that they can enjoy the next race with us together. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Here to perform the Canadian National Anthem and the Star-Spangled Banner, please welcome rising pop artist and a top 7 finalist from American Idol in 2024, Julia Gagnon.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, that wraps up the pre-race show for the EJP 175. Coming up, we'll wave the green flag.
NASCAR Live Race Day has been brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, Two Dudes in a Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, that's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
Jeff Gordon wins the Daytona 500.
Jeff Gordon's rise to one of NASCAR's all-time greatest drivers was one like no other. Relive Jeff Gordon's journey to the NASCAR Hall of Fame with the exclusive MRN podcast, Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career. 93 Cup Series wins, 4 Cup Series championships, and 3 Daytona 500 wins. A career rivaled by few others. Check out MRN's Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
From New Hampshire Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered. NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Kyle Rickey. Join Chris Wilner and I each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We also talk to rising stars from your favorite short track. That's NASCAR Coast to Coast. Watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or your favorite podcast platform.
Live on the NASCAR Racing Network. It's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Let's get a big thumbs up. Get ready to rock and roll past the race cars today, pal. Pull boys, let's execute. Have a good day.
Today, the EJP 175 from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Brought to you by Craftsman. Runs long, works great, won't slow you down. The Craftsman V20 brushless RP lineup. Built for the backyard and beyond. See craftsman.com for details. By GoodRx. For simple, smart savings on your prescriptions, go to goodrx.com. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com. And by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco fuels peak performance.
You know, math was never my strong suit in school. It really wasn't. But it is so simple right here. I'm using the Jethro Bodine kind of way to count this thing, but people have seen the show, The Clampetts, way back when. Got 10 drivers, 8 move on, 2 don't. Have I got the math right?
You do.
That's what we're dealing with today. Now, we have 2 drivers already in. We have 4 drivers in pretty good points position. Again, here's the simple math again. That leaves 4 guys, 2 spots. Still, 2 guys are not going to make it.
No, you're right. You're right. But Ross would also agree with me when I say there are about 18 other guys that, when you all get said and done, would like to upset your way of keeping score here today. And you know what? There's some guys out there that could get that done, Ross Chastain. I don't think it's just those 10 guys that could be in it for a win today. Anything can happen at this racetrack.
Absolutely. You look at your teams, and I go by organization. So for Tricon, Corey Heim, clearly the best truck and the best team in that camp. But who else from Tricon? You got Gio Ruggiero knocking on the door of winning races. Tanner Gray in the 15 as well. Can one of those teammates of Corey Heim step up? I go to McAnally Hilgeman Racing. Clearly, Daniel Hemrick is leading the charge from a points perspective, but who else in that camp? Connor Mozak, the 81. Tyler Ankrum has won a race and has been super consistent over the last couple of years. Who else at McAnally Hilgeman can step up? Then I go further back to Nice Motorsports. Andres Perez has came over from Spire. He's arguably the best truck at Nice now. Can he take that next step and go into the top 10 consistently throughout this race and put himself in a position to win his first race in the series?
So there's a lot of guys who are not in the playoff, but they have a lot to race for, especially this time of year, especially if you're working on sponsors and your next deal and whatever else happens and you're trying to work out for 2026. Want to remind people, tomorrow it's the Mobile One 301 on PRN at 1:30 Eastern Time. Round 2, New Hampshire, Kansas, Roval. How do you feel about it, Ross? You're in the deal.
You guys talk about, and we just went through other drivers outside of the playoffs that could upset this playoff day. We did that 1 year ago at Kansas. We were a bright orange Kubota car. I had shaved my face because I was mad we didn't make the playoffs, and we went and won a cup race in the playoffs as a non-playoff driver. Now, that happens. We aren't the only one to do it, but can one of these Truck Series guys do it? And can I continue throughout our playoffs? That's a good question. We're going to get on track today and practice and qualify and start that round for us. All starts today.
Is it qualifying a lot? Is qualifying the big deal for you? Christopher Bell even talked about, as well as he runs here, he has to pick up his qualifying to give himself a better chance to take the title down the road.
He doesn't need any better chances. The guy drives by me whether he qualifies last or qualifies first. So, no, yes, I think for pit stall selection, you see there's a couple openings on pit road. As we look from our booth here, you can see the boxes that are marked off and the openings to get on and off pit road from the garage. Yes, it helps to qualify up front.
speaking of pit stall selections, Jake Garcia has the number one pit stall here by virtue of last week. That could turn out to be a big advantage this afternoon for him, Mark.
Again, you have to take any little thing you can get and make it count. Well, that's a big one, right?
That is. And Jake and J-Rod, that 13 team out of Thorsport, they are firing on all cylinders. They are the closest teammate Ty Majeski has that's running with them week in and week out.
So as we've talked about, everybody, this is the cutoff race for the Craftsman Truck Series round number 1. Only 10 drivers in that series qualify for the playoffs. We're about to lose 2 more here this afternoon with 8 moving on to round number 2. Again, so glad you could join us. It's an absolutely gorgeous day here at the Magic Mile. Now let's go get the command.
New Hampshire, give a big NASCAR welcome to Stephen Prescott. By day, he is president and CEO of EJ Prescott, but today he is here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Take it away, Stephen.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Now, here's the starting lineup.
Here's a look at your starting lineup for the Team EJP 175 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Starting 36, it's Caleb Costner in the Ironside Forestry Toyota alongside Derek White in the Wholesale JL Ford. Starting 34th, it's Tyler Tomasi in the Tomasi Law LLC Ford alongside Stephen Malozzi in a Ford. Norm Benning starts 32nd in the MDIA Incorporated Chevrolet alongside Jason Alexander in the Constant Contact Chevrolet.
Then 30th in the Eastern Bank Ford, it's Blake Lothian. Michael Christopher Jr. starts 29th in the USNE Power Toyota. The Napa Night Vision Chevrolet of Christian Eckes is 28th. 27th, Spencer Boyd, the Granite State De-Icing Supply Chevrolet. The Brunt Chevy of Mason Massey will start 26th. 25th, Tony Breidinger in the Sunoco 94 Octane Toyota. The JF Electric Chevrolet of Matt Mills is 24th. 23rd, Bailey Curry, the DQS Solutions and Staffing Chevrolet. The SIAP Chevy of Patrick Emberling is 22nd, and 21st, Dawson Sutton in the Rackley Roofing Chevrolet.
Starting 20th today is Andres Perez de Lara in the Telcel Chevrolet alongside Jack Wood in the Adaptive One Caliber Chevrolet. It's the Auto Vented Precision Chevrolet for Connor Jones starting 18th alongside Ben Rhodes in the Campers Inn RB Ford. Grant Enfinger starts 16th today in the Champion Power Equipment Chevrolet alongside Caden Honeycutt in the Halmar International Toyota. Giovanna Ruggiero starts 14th in the First Auto Group Toyota. Daniel Hemrick starts 13th in the Gates Hydraulic Chevrolet. Starting 12th today is Raja Karuth in the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet alongside Connor Mozak in the FW Web Company Chevrolet.
Now the top 10 outside of row number 5 in the Liuna Chevrolet, it's Tyler Ankrum. Starting 9th, Jake Garcia, the Quanta Services Ford. The Gamebridge Chevrolet of Corey LaJoy is 8th. 7th, Brent Cruz, the JBL Toyota. 6th, it's Matt Crafton, the Jack Links Menards Ford. The Place of Hope Toyota of Tanner Gray will go off 5th. 4th, Lane Riggs, the Bare Knuckle Brawl Ford. Then it's the Soda Sense Curb Records Ford of Ty Majeski 3rd. And now the front row on the outside in the Long John Silver Ford, it's Chandler Smith. And on the pole, Corey Heim in the Safe Light Toyota. He is on the pole for the first time in New Hampshire, the 6th time in 2025. His speed, 131.583 miles per hour.
That's the starting lineup for the Team EJP 175 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hi, Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me along with the cast and crew of the Motor Racing Network every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. Hear exclusive interviews.
I do think that if you're always are scared to make the big moves, you're just always going to be following the person that did.
The best moments from each of NASCAR's premier series.
Reddick slides up the racetrack. Briscoe gets away off turn 4.
An in-depth breakdown to the latest NASCAR news and more. It's NASCAR Live every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern.
Stick with us. The green flag is about to fly here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, Two Dudes in the Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, that's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
Don't miss a moment of the NASCAR season.
Chastain drove it and never lifted. Put it against the safer barrier and all the way around the turn. Passes Denny Hamlin.
Check out the Motor Racing Network's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and the NASCAR Cup Series on hundreds of local radio stations around the country. Find your local station by going to mrn.com to catch the excitement of NASCAR on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Welcome back to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, where we are just about to get the green here with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Pace laps going on down here. Myself and Mark Garrow, Ross Chastain up here in the booth. Ross, we were talking a minute ago about the modified race. There's a lot of modified rubber on this racetrack right now. How does a truck react to that, generally speaking? How many laps does it take to kind of get that where it feels comfortable?
Yeah, coming up just past noon here in New England, we still see a lot of shine as we look down to turns 1 and 2 on the racetrack with the sun pretty much being directly overhead. So that, to me, says that rubber is thick out there. It's a different tire company, a totally different compound than these Goodyear Eagles that these trucks have. So going to be slick here to start.
And, Pat, they've done some work to the track as well.
Some patching at different spots around the racetrack. They've got the sealer on that. Of course, that was done before the modified race. So it's going to be an interesting evaluation for these guys that are holding these steering wheels this afternoon to get a feel for what is comfortable at the beginning of this race and then go start looking for grip and looking for ways to get around here quickly. But the racetrack itself, that will be the major challenge for these guys the first 5 or 6 laps.
And it drives so differently, right? You see things in turns 1 and 2 you just don't see in 3 and 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And although they are pretty symmetrical from the driver's seat, there are nuances to entering the track. And a lot of that comes from the weather here. The winters are so harsh and then so hot during the summer. This asphalt goes through a lot of elements, and it causes the asphalt to move. We've seen with the 3 lanes that are paved around the bottom of the racetrack that look different than the rest, that asphalt moves different than the older asphalt on the straightaways and around the outside and on the apron of the racetrack. So some of the sealer that they put in, the filler I'll call it, it was upwards of around 3 inches when we were here at the tire test a few months ago.
So this track is, you could maybe make it even 5 wide, right? But if you're up in the 5th groove, no bueno? Not good?
Full middle pedal, brake pedal, please. Give me the middle one.
The trucks, rather, have just gone down pit road, and the pit road speed today, 55 miles per hour. Need to mention that Rich Keeter is the starter. The pace car driver today, Eric Johnson, he's behind the wheel of a nice-looking Toyota pace car. And our stages, again, lap 55 ends stage 1. Stage 2 ends at lap 110. Stage 3, 65 laps long to the total of 175.
All right, guys, first decision of the race. Corey Heim qualified on the pole yesterday. He just chose the outside, so he gave Chandler Smith the inside for the start, but he wanted the outside. First decision made.
And we have 3 drivers going to the back for unapproved adjustments. Christian Eckes is going back there. Also is Tyler Tomasi and Derek White going back there. They don't have to go very far, even for Christian Eckes. Eckes qualified in the 28th position, so why not make an unapproved adjustment, try to make your truck a little better?
And for a guy coming back to McAnally-Hilgeman Racing that has won races for that team now full-time in the Xfinity Series for Colleague Racing, they expect to be up front. Obviously, that qualifying effort, not what they wanted. Really no harm, no foul, couple rows back.
Nick Yeoman, a quick word before we turn them loose.
Yeah, set to go racing. Two hottest drivers in the sport going to start on the outside with, of course, your pole sitter Corey Heim going to start on the outside of Chandler Smith, who needs a big day. And then, of course, the Bristol winner who's been on fire lately, Lane Riggs, there in row number 2. Guys, it is time to go racing here at New Hampshire.
So here we go. The lights are off the pace car. Again, the crowd on its feet. Big crowd today here at the Magic Mile. They've seen a terrific modified race. A crazy finish to that one. Will we see the same thing for the trucks? Here they are working their way now out of turn number 4. Your pole sitter, Corey Heim, is on the outside of Chandler Smith. Green flag is out. Heim gets a good jump. Majeski, though, trying to push Chandler Smith to his inside as they hit turn number 1.
They will fan out into turn number 1. Boy, Chandler Smith's truck washed way up the racetrack, nearly got into Corey Heim, and they're spinning at mid-pack. Brent Cruz gets turned around.
Caution.
He is pointed in the wrong direction. It's going to bring out a yellow flag. A lot of bumping, but no major contact. Cruz's car, though, points in the wrong direction at the exit of turn 2.
So yellow flag number 1 comes out 1/3 into the first lap here at New Hampshire.
Ross, this is all about being too aggressive, too quick here, not really thinking about where the rubber is on the racetrack. And I'll tell you what, just watching these guys, they went into the corner and just could not control their vehicles, got sideways and stacked them up.
A great start by Corey Heim, but tandem pushing on the inside. Ty Majeski into Chandler Smith, put Chandler far enough up to be close to Corey Heim, and that truck did not stick when he got to turn 1.
Looks like Tanner Gray got a bump as well. That turned him sideways. Let's right now go down to Heather DeBow.
And Brent Cruz making his way around the front stretch right now. The team taking a good look at the right side of that truck. He said that he had extensive damage to the right rear. They told him, hey, if the tire's up, we're going to have you stay out. He also said the steering wheel is straight. So the plan is right now is to stay out for the one of Brent Cruz and not fix the damage. Alan Cavana.
A part of that wreck was the Tricon truck number 15 of Tanner Gray, waiting on him to come around now. He spun out there on the track. It looks like he's be down pit road the next time by, but he says his steering wheel is off center about 2 o'clock, and there's a lot of body damage, so they're going to come in and assess what they can, try to keep all the tires up on it as fast as they can, then make those changes and see what they can do, see what they can salvage after this lap 1 wreck.
So, again, we're watching a replay on TV. Everything got off to a good start, and then they kind of got stacked up when they got down to turn number 1. Started out with Chandler Smith rising up the racetrack, and there in mid-pack you got some guys bumping and jamming. And, again, I think that was, again, because of the Chandler Smith, Corey Heim. They start to check up, and then you have that accordion effect, and somebody is going to pay the price in mid-pack.
Yeah, hard to tell. Tanner Gray is the first truck to completely go around. A lot of trucks were close, and he had a really close truck of the 77 of Corey LaJoy that had started to his outside 1 row back. As we get another look at it down here in turn 1, everybody sliding up the track. Tanner Gray, big-time wiggle right before the center of 1 and 2, maybe backed himself almost into the nose of Corey LaJoy, but a lot of trucks sliding on that modified rubber we talked about, guys. Let's go down to Allen.
Well, get the baseball bat ready was the instruction on the radio, because there is a lot of damage just over the left rear. It's all was in there, the sheet metal and everything. It's rubbing on the tire. They're trying to get it across, get it cleared, get him off pit road so they can come back and work on it some more, Heather.
And Brent Cruz did come down pit road after the team took a good look at that right side of the truck. They said that they needed to come down and fix it. They cleared the fender, put some tape on that right rear of the truck, and sent him out on his way.
So technically, NASCAR is going to score the opening lap as under green. But really, we've been under yellow since the drop of the green flag. And again, the yellow coming out very quickly. Corey Heim chose the outside of row 1 on that restart because he trusted Chandler Smith, right, to do his thing but not get into his thing.
I got to tell you, though.
Does he do it again?
Yeah, well, but I thought Majeski getting into the back of Chandler Smith, that really just kind of lit the fuse for what happened down there. Majeski was smart. He backed off because I think he really kind of encouraged that, if you will, because these corners are inviting. You think you've got a lot more room down there to operate than you do, and if you go sailing off in there a little quicker than you think because you think somebody's coming at you from behind, you can get what you got.
Hear footsteps? Maybe he heard footsteps.
Exactly.
He heard tire chatter behind him. No, good job by the rest of the field to not pile in more trucks. As we come to the choose here, Corey Heim gets a second shot at the choose. He decides to go high, and where does Chandler Smith, the second place runner, go? Right behind him. He said, "I'm not going down there again." Gives Ty Majeski the front row.
So that tells you that bottom is pretty slick, and he wants Corey Heim to go like, "Look, relax. I'm sorry." So I'm not gonna do it again.
That's right. Some of the biggest damage, guys, that I saw was the 81 of Connor Mozak on pit road. Was the first truck I saw as he backs down pit road. His day is done. Heavy damage to the right front of that truck as Brent Cruz is back on pit road. That team led by Jeff Hensley, all working around the right rear corner of the truck as we come back to green.
That's too bad for Cruz. He was really fast in qualifying yesterday. They looked like they were off to a good afternoon.
We're going to try to restart this race on lap number 5, which gives us 50 to go in stage number 1. Our top 10 real quick. Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski, Lane Riggs, Matt Crafton now 5th, Corey LaJoy 6th, 7th Tyler Ankrum, Jake Garcia 8th, 9th Raja Caruth, Gio Ruggiero in the 10th position.
All right, trucks now making their way towards the restart zone. Pace car hits the pit road. Here comes Heim. He's going to pull the trigger as they head to the start-finish line. Right behind him, Chandler Smith. Majeski to the outside, and Riggs is right there as well.
Yeah, into turn number 1. Chandler Smith will follow Corey Heim into turn number 1. Ty Majeski digging hard on the bottom. He'll slide up in front of Chandler Smith, take that second spot away. Nice and clean this time for the pack through turns 1 and 2 as they head to turn 3.
As they work their way into turn 3, Corey Heim will lead them. They're all single file. Matt Crafton with a bit of a wiggle. As they work out of turn 4, Heim is your leader as they work their way back to 1.
Yeah, driver looking aggressive early is Tyler Ankrum. He was the driver that got to the inside of Matt Crafton, but Crafton got a good run off of turn number 4. He will hold that 6th spot as Ankrum goes side by side with Raja Caruth. Caruth is top shelf all the way on the outside. They're side by side as Caruth noses his way ahead down the backstretch.
Best battle on the racetrack there, and now backs off of Raja Caruth. Ankrum goes back down to the bottom, trying to make the pass. Caruth goes upstairs. Here comes Corey Heim back to the start finish.
Yeah, Corey Heim's advantage over Ty Majeski, this time into turn number 1, about 2 or 3 car lengths. Even separation back to Chandler Smith, who runs in third. He's got his teammate really digging hard on the bottom. That is Lane Riggs. He closed within about 2 car lengths as they race up off of turn 2.
As they work their way down the backstretch, Corey Heim starting to stretch away from Ty Majeski. Also, it looks like Chandler Smith is losing a bit of ground, but here is Caruth now climbing onto the back deck of the Matt Crafton truck as they work out of turn 4. Now Raja gets a little bit loose. 3 trucks will now join the party, including Daniel Hemrick.
Yeah, Raja kind of looks like a winged sprint car driver right now as he is going a little bit higher than everybody around this racetrack. Now he's settled in to the middle groove. He's trying to hold off. It looks like Daniel Hemrick putting the pressure as they're halfway down the backstretch.
Hey, Garcia making things work on the outside there down the backstretch here at the Magic Mile. He moves in front of Ankrum. Meanwhile, the top 5 trucks are all spread out by about 6 or 7 car lengths. The battle goes back here where Matt Crafton has got a mirror full of Raja Caruth.
Yep, it's a 5-truck breakaway at the front. Then you've got that bright highlighter yellow machine of Matt Crafton. He's got about a 2-car length advantage over Raja Caruth. I think Caruth's got to worry more about Daniel Hemrick. He's looking inside at the exit of turn 2.
We have a truck going very slowly on the apron of the race.
Tanner Gray slow back there on the back of the backstretch right now, Mark.
Now it looks like he's starting to pick up speed, may rejoin the race. Here is Heim, though, across the finish line, and right now Nick Yeoman, he and Ty Majeski are leaving the rest of the field.
Yeah, Majeski looks like he has a truck at least as good as Corey Heim. He's holding about 2 or 3 car lengths behind. But as you pointed out, the advantage is growing over third-place Chandler Smith as they head into turn number 3. Those front 2 with about a 6-car length advantage.
Daniel Hemrick now looks to be on the move as he gets an eyeball of Raja Caruth, bottom of the racetrack. That's where they run right now as they make use of the bottom of the track right now. Here's Hemrick. He'll get right to the bumper of Caruth. We'll see if he can make a move, perhaps headed down into turn number 1.
Yeah, Hemrick's been running really low in turns 1 and 2. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. Looks like Raja Caruth will go there as well. go and seal off that line. They're both trying to run down Matt Crafton. This is 7th and 8th. Raja Caruth holds off Hemrick down the backstretch.
As they work their way into the turn, just behind Daniel Hemrick is Jake Garcia. Looks like he's pretty racy early on in this event. Tyler Ankrum now also trying to make that a 5-truck battle for that position as they cross the stripe. Right now, we have 43 laps to go here in stage 1.
Oh, Kansas.
Here we go. Second half today.
You just don't stop giving, do you?
Green flag, we're underway.
The closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history.
Finish, boys.
Close to downtown, amazing campgrounds, 3 NASCAR races in one weekend, and it's the playoffs.
God can't drive.
Now you're just showing off. But we're not mad. In fact, we're looking forward to it. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Kansas Speedway, September 26th through the 28th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
NASCAR fans, the time is now to turn your love of racing into free tickets, merchandise, VIP experiences, and much, much more. Rack up fan rewards points by watching races at home, playing fantasy, completing challenges, and visiting tracks. Then redeem your points for epic prizes. You are in the driver's seat. What are you waiting for? Sign up for the free NASCAR Fan Rewards loyalty program today at NASCAR.com/fan rewards.
Today's Restart Zone is brought to you by Echo Park Automotive. Every car, happy owner. From the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
NASCAR history.
Petty wins his 200th career NASCAR victory.
Told by the people who made that history.
President Reagan was there. He got us on the front page, and we got him in the sports page. It was a good trade-off from that standpoint.
Motor Racing Network's NASCAR Live presents podcast The Road to Royalty. Jeff Gordon, a colorful career, 50 years of MRN, the 1993 season, Junior's Journey, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
After a devastating storm that brings down trees and homes, so many families have nowhere to turn. That's why Samaritan's Purse responds immediately after hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and fires all across the country. Our volunteer teams bring tools and compassion to homeowners who have lost not only possessions, but more importantly, hope. You can help. Join with Samaritan's Purse. Log on to SamaritansPurse.org.
Back to the Magic Mile, the cutoff race for the Craftsman Truck Series. We are now 18 laps deep, 37 laps to go here in stage number 1. Let's give you a full field rundown. Corey Heim is your leader, Ty Majeski second, Chandler Smith third, fourth is Lane Riggs, Corey LaJoie fifth, Matt Crafton sixth, 7th, Raja Caruth, Daniel Hemrick 8th, 9th, Jake Garcia, Tyler Ankrum in 10th.
Ben Rhodes runs in the 11th spot right now. Caden Honeycutt in the 12th position. Gio Ruggiero in the 13th spot. Patrick Emmeling in the 14th position. Grant Enfinger in 15th right now. 16th is Andreas Delara Perez. 17th, Dawson Sutton. Bailey Curry, 18th. 19th, Christian Eckes. And Mike Christopher Jr. is in that 20th spot.
Jack Wood, 21st. Connor Jones in the 22nd position. 23rd, Matt Mills. Spencer Boyd, 24th. 25th, Brent Cruz. Tyler Tomasi is 26th. Mason Massey, 27th. Then you have Blake Lothian in the 28th spot. Alexander, and then Tony Breidinger in 30th.
Yeah, and Norm Benning is 1 lap down. Tanner Gray is 6 laps down. Malozzi is off the racetrack, and Connor Mozak is out of the race.
Let's go down to Alan Cavana.
Well, in the pre-race show, Raja Caruth told us he wanted to be on offense. Despite being on just above the cut line, he said the best approach was a good offense. We've seen that so far. He's up 5 spots early on in this race. On the radio, they really like how he is attacking each of these corners, being able to make these passes, and they're reminding him every point counts as he tries to track down Matt Crafton right now for a top 6 spot.
Ross Chastain, we're early in this race. Anything jump out yet?
Well, I think best in class is currently the 77, Corey LaJoie in 5th place. Not running the lap times of the top 4, but he has positioned himself in a good enough spot if he can stay here through the end of this stage with coming back to 33 laps to go. that he can make the changes. Corey has so much experience across all 3 of these top series. He can give his team and his crew chief the information to make his truck possibly good enough to go compete with that top 4.
Again, a long way to go, but coming into this race, Chandler Smith 22 points below the cut line. Now riding in the 3rd spot, he is only -4. So there is a way for him to math his way into the 2nd round, and he's doing his best to keep up his end of the bargain right now, if he doesn't get to victory lane.
Speed fixes everything, and that truck is fast enough to do it.
Yeah, and Ross, one of the interesting things right now as we watch Corey get into turn number 3, you know, you've got Majeski right there not far away from him, but they are catching a lot of lap traffic right now as they head off down towards turn 1. And negotiating around some of that traffic has got to be a little hairy this afternoon.
Those 2 have proven to be the best in the series this year, and I don't expect anything else as they work through these trucks.
And we're watching right now the 2 leaders disappear from the rest of the field. Corey Heim, the leader, Majeski in 2nd. Majeski won't let him go, and they are now 4 seconds ahead of Chandler Smith, 5 seconds ahead of Lane Riggs, 8 seconds ahead of Corey LaJoie. They have set a torrid pace early on, and nobody can match it.
Leaders back to 1.
Yeah, and to your point, Pat, they've done a really nice job, both Corey Heim and Ty Majeski, of navigating through some of this lap traffic. Just got around the lap car of Jason Alexander. Now they're pulling up on Blake Lothian, but they've got about a couple football field advantage over Chandler Smith, who runs 3rd off of turn 2.
Watching Tyler Ankrum right now, he's challenging Jake Garcia. They're working their way through turn 2 right now. Of course, these are 2 drivers that are trying to move on in this Craftsman Truck Series playoff. Right now, Ankrum about a truck length or 2 back of Garcia as they dive into turn number 3. When they come back across the stripe, there's only going to be 30 laps to go here in stage number 2 of the Team EJP 175 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Here's Garcia back to 1.
And of course, it goes without saying that both of these drivers could use some stage points. Jake Garcia, perhaps most importantly, up off of turn number 2. He'll hold about a 2.5 truck length advantage over Tyler Ankrum as they set up for turn 3.
Let's go down on the pit road with Heather DeBow.
And holding strong in that 2nd position right now is Ty Majeski. I spoke with him earlier today, and he said, even though I've never been to this racetrack, I'm really excited to come to this flat track. It really reminds him of Milwaukee. Now, he told me that if they could just get through stage 1, that is the mindset. They feel like most likely they would be locked into the next round at that point, and then they can get more aggressive and go for the win. And his crew chief, Joe Shear, told me the same thing. He said, I feel pretty good about this. He said, we didn't really alter our short track setup. We did try some things yesterday and went right back to what we know. And he said, this is just going to be a little teaser for you guys for what we might have at Phoenix.
The leader has now lapped 10 trucks, so 26 trucks are left on the lead lap with 28 to go in stage 1 here at the Magic Mile.
DIYers, ever start a project thinking that this'll be quick, only for it to be anything but? We've all been there, and that's why you need Craftsman, DIYers' most trusted brand. Craftsman's V20 battery works across drills, saws, trimmers, mowers, and over 100 other products from the house to the backyard and beyond. No dead stops, no refuels, just grab, swap, and get it done. Because your project might fight back, but your tools shouldn't. Head to Craftsman.com to learn more. Craftsman, build on.
We are the voice of NASCAR.
The green flag is in the air, and we are underway. The Great American Race.
The Motor Racing Network. NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, and Craftsman Truck Series Racing live on your hometown radio station and MRN or NASCAR.com. Martinsville, Talladega, the Chicago Street Course. We have the side-by-side action and last lap passes for the win.
Photo finishes. Ryan Blaney will win.
The voice of NASCAR, the Motor Racing Network.
Racing here in New Hampshire is brought to you by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco fuels peak performance. From the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
You're not going to want to miss tonight's county fair. I'm going to be...
We are your window to your community.
Did you see the last 5 minutes of that football game last night?
Oh, man, I saw the whole thing.
And a lifeline to keep you safe when danger is near.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can. This is one of the biggest storms.
We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Jeff Gordon wins the Daytona 500.
Jeff Gordon's rise to one of NASCAR's all-time greatest drivers was one like no other. Relive Jeff Gordon's journey to the NASCAR Hall of Fame with the exclusive MRN podcast, Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career. 93 Cup Series wins, 4 Cup Series championships, and 3 Daytona 500 wins. A career rivaled by few others. Check out MRN's Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
The Craftsman Truck Series cutoff race here on the Magic Mile. 23 laps to go in stage one. Still very early on in this event.
Trouble in turn number one, guys. We've got 2 trucks around. One backed in hard into the wall. That's Jason Alexander. Looked like Caleb Costner was involved as well. They were running right in front of Raja Caruth and Daniel Hemrick in a battle, and the 2 slower of those trucks got the worst of it as Alexander's truck is used up. Costner appears to have some rear-end damage as well. Caution out here in turn 1 at New Hampshire.
Nick, it looked like a big impact for Alexander because when I turned around after you said trouble, his truck was in the air after the impact.
Yeah, again, it was Daniel Hemrick and Raja Caruth. They were running side by side, both barreling towards turn number 1, battling for position inside the top 10, and you had these 2 slower trucks of Alexander and Costner who were there. Alexander got the worst of it, and as you guys mentioned, or as you pointed out, Mark, that car went spinning wildly up into turn number 2. Costner was there as well. Again, 2-truck accident down here in turn 1.
You've had a chance, Ross, to take a look at the replay.
Yeah, two lap trucks, the 02 and 74, get together. Raja Caruth, playoff driver, gets by on the outside just in the nick of time. The 19 of Daniel Hemrick does make contact with the trucks and then contact with the outside wall, so we'll wait to get a better look at the 19 truck and see how much damage he has.
When they got to turn number 1, it looked like Hemrick had a lane to work with. Up ahead of Raja Caruth, to go 3 wide, he didn't have any room in the middle. There were 2 trucks down there. Alexander's truck got loose, and then the wreck was on. But that was a big impact. When you lose control of your truck at the bottom of the racetrack, and then you go all the way to the wall, you're going to have a big impact.
Good to see them getting out of the trucks over there, although the trucks are torn up pretty bad. It's a tough spot, Ross, for the spotter right there. When you get 2 faster trucks, they're coming up on you. I know the spotter's trying to tell them, hey, you got faster traffic coming around you, but it's also easy just to misjudge that, especially when you're trying to put input into the wheel.
That's right. Big discrepancy in speed between Blake Lothian's truck and Caleb Costner's truck with Raja. Raja got held up off turn 4. That's what gave Daniel Hemrick the run to even catch them. And then as they all tried to sort it out into turn 1, contact between Caleb and Blake's truck, ultimately sending Blake into the wall the hardest. It is good to see him get out of that truck now. So definitely hard contact and lucky for Raja, who doesn't have the points to afford to be in the wall, and Daniel Hemrick luckily has the points buffer. Should be okay.
A quick break, and we'll come right back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfield. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings Wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang, that one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
Go behind the scenes and into the garages of the sport's top teams and drivers on NASCAR Hot Pass.
You know, if you win, then your problems are likely solved. There's going to be issues with track limits in the S's, right? Because they're just tight.
A normal occurrence is qualifying from 28th to 32nd. That's just something we're going to continue to keep on working on.
It's the latest information you want to know on NASCAR Hot Pass. Weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
From the Magic Mile in Loudon, New Hampshire, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
On Thursdays, NASCAR Live goes wide open with some of the biggest names in the sport.
The goal is the same, so the mindset's the same, right? The goal is to win the championship.
And some familiar voices that you might not have heard from in a while.
You know, I thought about going to one of these teams because I'd really like to win the 500.
I never planned any of this to start with, right from the very beginning.
No matter what driver or what era is your favorite, NASCAR Live Wide Open has every corner of the fan base covered. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
Your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
We're back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway under yellow for a monstrous two-truck crash down in turn number 1. Let's go down to Heather DeBow.
First truck coming down pit road would be the 88 of Matt Crafton, but in my section I'm waiting for Grant Infinger. That's the one that I'm waiting for here on my end of pit road. He said he's got better entry and exit, but still tight in the center, and they actually opted not to pit, so cars down on my pit road right now getting service. The one of Brent Cruz had a backup in his stall. We'll send it down to Alan Cavana.
Well, Heather, Daniel Hemrick was involved in that wreck. Ross Chastain described it perfectly. A little damage on the left side, more damage when he kissed the wall on the right side. They've looked at pictures already, so they were happy to see it wasn't as bad as they thought. They do have to put some bear bond on the right rear of the truck. They want to pull it away from the wheel to make sure it's not rubbing, but his crew chief, Kevin Bellacourt, said, hey, be careful. Don't pull it too much. We don't want to create a parachute. Aero is big here at this track, so they're just trying to make it as smooth as possible for Daniel Hemrick to keep this good run and good season going.
So, Ross, what do you think of the trucks that decided to pit? There's different reasons for that, but what do you think of them pitting right here with, at this point, about to be 17 to go in stage 1?
Yeah, I think Matt Crafton leading the charge down. He has the most experience in the history of the truck series. So for that 88 team, they decided to be the first ones to pull the trigger and come to pit road. He did drag a handful of trucks with him, probably not as many as he wished he would have, as we see guys like Caden Honeycutt, Grant Infinger was right on the fence of coming in or staying out. They like to stay on the track.
You mentioned Matt Crafton. His best finish this season is 7th at Texas. He was also 9th at Las Vegas. 4 top 10s this season, 5 finishes of 5 of 11 finishes, 20th or worse, coming off his first top 10 finish in 7 races. So you look at those stats, you go like, whew, doesn't feel like Matt Crafton.
Yeah, and knowing that this is it, right? This is going to be his last full-time season in this Menards bright highlighter yellow 88 truck that we've all come to know in the series for so long. Did that one short stint away from ThorSport a long time ago, but has been there and has been the class of the field. They even put that Menards yellow on the roof caps, the rear of the roof, on every ThorSport truck that comes out of that shop. He's the closest of the last few weeks that I would say the closest to Ty Majeski of the teammates, aside from Jake Garcia, that we've seen.
So 15 career wins, 3 championships for Matt Crafton. Not bad when you hang up your helmet, you have that kind of resume.
That's right. I feel honored to say I'm one of the guys that finished second to him in a championship. 2019, he didn't win a race all year. We won 4 races. He didn't win one, but he won the championship. He was good, and he was great at Homestead when it mattered.
Want to remind you that PRN at 3 o'clock Eastern Time will have Cup Series practice and qualifying for the Mobile One 301. Of course, that will basically come up right after this event here as we continue with the Craftsman Truck Series cutoff race on the Magic Mile. Then, of course, tomorrow, the Mobile One 301. Our pre-race coverage kicks off at 1:30 Eastern Time.
So far, I think, pretty entertaining. That first lap wreck was certainly something that jumbled things up quite a bit. But it's about what we were thinking it would be, and that is Corey Heim setting the pace, and the pace he is setting it right now. I'm impressed with Corey LaJoie, though, in the fact that he's taking that Spire truck right up there to the front. Be interesting to see how many more spots he might be able to grab here in the next opening laps here once we get back and get under green. I think we'll be coming back, Mark, to the one to go here in just a minute.
Got to be thinking also about Rajah Caruth. He's thinking, okay, take a breath. We got lucky down there. That could have been my ticket out of the playoff, and now he still has a chance to punch his ticket there into round number 2. So I think he's in a great spot, currently 6th in the rundown, and I think he's just got to settle down now, right, after a close call.
That's right. As we come to the choose here, he gives up a lane to be outside, so he will restart 8th. He gave up 5th place on the restart, and he thinks that's going to be the best thing for his momentum off turn 2 to set himself up for this short run to the end here as we come back to 14 laps to go in the stage.
And Ross, just real quick, Daniel Hemrick needs to be careful right here because he put himself back here in the hornet's nest, and that is not where you want to be here, especially in the early laps of this restart. Hemrick needs to be careful. That incident down there certainly was a pause for caution on his behalf.
A quick change. Our pre-race coverage tomorrow gets underway at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Somebody ran up and went, oops, on my card. We got the time wrong. That's okay. That's all right. So they just get more PR in. We start at 1 o'clock tomorrow. About to restart this race. They're about to come into the Echo Park restart zone. Every car, happy owner at Echo Park Automotive.
Corey Heim now comes down to the restart zone, getting ready to punch the throttle. He gets it done. Now he'll head to the green flag. Chandler Smith with a good push there. Riggs trying to make up some distance, but the outside lane is rolling.
Yeah, the outside lane certainly was rolling. As that Corey Heim's not only going to clear Ty Majeski for the race lead, but Chandler Smith's going to slide in front of Majeski and grab that second spot. Majeski's going to have to hold on for third. He's got Corey LaJoie pushing him down the back straightaway into turn 3.
LaJoie right there as he tries to work down to the outside to take over the third spot. But as he slides up the racetrack, Lane Riggs takes a look to the inside. LaJoie, though, able to hold on. A big jumble. Now 3 trucks go into the wall coming out of turn number 4. Yellow flag is out again.
Now the 41 of Connor Jones, I think, is involved in that. I think the number 16 of Christian Eckes also getting a piece, but driving away from the incident right now. They just got jumbled up back there, Ross, and that happens on these restarts, and everybody was rolling pretty hard coming off the corner.
Connor Jones taking the hardest hit, a square hit to the back of his number 41 Precision Logistics Chevy as he backs into the wall hard off turn 4 after contact, I believe, with Christian Eckes, but we'll have to get a replay to see for sure.
So we have seen our fair share of yellow flags early on in this race. Yellow flag number 3, and we have run 42 laps. Our first yellow flag came out, I want to say lap 1, but it really doesn't tell you the story. It's basically lap 1/3. What do you have here, Ross?
Looks like the 16 actually has contact from Michael Christopher Jr. into his left rear, which makes him correct into the left rear of the 41 of Connor Jones. Hard into the wall for Connor Jones. Jack Wood takes evasive action, might have locked his tires up, and Bailey Curry, a teammate to Connor Jones, weaves his way through. These are all trucks that pitted, guys, remember, and as you said, Pat, that is a tough part of pitting and being further back in the pack.
Now, the 62 of Christopher is going to get a restart violation by NASCAR. I don't know if that has exactly to do with that incident right there, or he did something before we got to the line, but there's going to be a restart, or a penalty for the 62 when we get started again.
When I look at the replay, I go, how did Brent Cruz get through that without getting involved? He was like right in the middle of all 3 of those trucks.
Well, he paid it forward, I think, by being in that lap 0 crash. We've watched him slide through his pit stall, trying to have repairs and trying to get his last set of tires off the truck. So he did all that to avoid that one. It looks like Jack Wood does have damage. He did get in the back of his teammate Christian Eckes in that wreck.
So as we again work the yellow flag here at New Hampshire, we have 11 laps to go in stage number 1, and we've run 13 caution laps over the course of these 3 yellow flags so far. And again, this race, the total distance, 175. So this is just stage 1, very early on in this event. Corey Heim, who has been the story just about all season long, and maybe 1A would be Lane Riggs and what he's been doing lately. But Corey Heim, there's been no let-up, Ross, from when they dropped the green flag at Daytona to this race today. They have been on it every single time.
You go back to Daytona, they were even on it in Tech. He didn't cross the line first. He still gets the win when they throw Parker Kligerman out. So, yes, that 11 team is firing on all cylinders, led by Scott Zipadelli. Just no let up. And on that last restart, let's go back to that. As the pits are open here, our leaders are going to stay out as Corey LaJoie leads them down, with Lane Riggs actually following him.
That's interesting, don't you think? Those two at this particular time. What do you think the strategy is there, Ross?
Well, I think that they're just trying to pit before the end of the stage. Let's go down to Heather DeBow.
And Lane Riggs was telling his team that he was tight on exit, really losing that right front. So they're going to make a couple adjustments here. They just put a wrench in the right side of that truck, making their way over to the left side to finish up changing all 4 tires.
So Corey Heim chasing the stage win, which would be a record. We'll talk about that more in a second if he wins the stage. But Lane Riggs trying to find a way to leapfrog him and try to check out that clean air maybe at the beginning of stage 2 if he stays out.
Well, and I do believe he will as we come back. We're coming around to 9 to go here in the stage under this caution. But you got to remember the last caution, which we've only ran 3/4 of a lap under green. We had a good more than half dozen, close to 10 trucks that pitted. So you will have those trucks staying out. So now Lane Riggs, Corey LaJoie will be starting behind them on, I'll call it equal tires. Tough call right here for these crew chiefs.
All right, now here's a tough question for you. We're going to have to do this twice. So don't, throw the whole thing out there on the track the first time. Time for our Craftsman Who's Getting It Done. Ross Chastain, who's getting it done early on in this race, other than the flagman who's going to have his arm iced down after the race, after waving the yellow flag so many times?
Well, I'll go to our points battle and look at a guy that needs points today. Jake Garcia circling behind the pace car in 5th place. That's 6 points on the table. Now it'll come down to the choose and which lane he chooses. That last restart, Ty Majeski, not a good start. A lot of wheel spin. The front two on the outside row had both cleared him by the time they got turn 1, with Chandler Smith pushing Corey Heim. So can Jake Garcia grab the points he needs to gain on the cut line, but with Caden Honeycutt only 2 spots or right behind him on track?
So I think I have that, right?
Jake Garcia.
Jake Garcia
is getting it done in the Craftsman Truck Series today.
Your yard isn't overgrown. It's ripe with potential. Conquer whatever it throws at you with the Craftsman V20 brushless RP outdoor lineup. More runtime, better performance, and fewer frustrations. See craftsman.com for further details. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway right now, watching as 47 laps complete. They are making the choose here in the Craftsman Truck Series and lining up over there in turns 1 and 2. Nick Yeoman, we're about ready to settle up at least what the first stage is all about.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be Majeski, Garcia, and Ruggiero, the first 3 on the inside line. On the outside line, you'll have Corey Heim, who has dominated this race so far, with Chandler Smith, and it looks like Raja Karuth, the 3 on the outside, as the pace car heads into turn number 3, as we hopefully can get this first stage green to the finish and hand out some very valuable stage points.
When they come to the line, 48 laps complete, 7 to go in stage number 1. All 48 laps will have been led by Corey Heim. Let's see if he can hold on and win this stage. It would be a record breaker for Heim as they work their way into the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. Every car, happy owner. Echo Park Automotive.
Here goes Heim. He's getting another good push from Chandler Smith. They're going to box up about 5 wide in turn 1.
Boy, Andres Perez de Lara really on the move. He dove to the bottom of the racetrack, might have passed 5 or 6 trucks to push his way into the top 8. Up front, though, Corey Heim with the advantage. The battle is for second. Majeski on the inside, Chandler Smith to the outside.
Majeski goes down, paints the line there, going into turn number 3, holds a pretty wheel up against Chandler Smith. They battle side by side once again off of turn number 4. Here's the leader back to the stripe, headed to 1.
Corey Heim's advantage about 4 car lengths over Chandler Smith, who wins that battle over Ty Majeski. Had that outside rolling in turns 3 and 4, kept the momentum up and take to that second spot. Majeski not going to go away, though. He's right in the tire tracks as they head down the back straightaway.
Heim stretches it out by about 5 truck lengths now, entering into turn 3. Smith with a mirror full of Majeski right there. Rajat Karuth with some speed now in his truck, holds on to that 4th spot. Here they come once again, back in front of the grandstands here at the Magic Mile.
Yeah, Raja Karuth restarted 6th, but he is up to 4th as they head down into turn number 1. Meanwhile, guys, the yellow flag is out. Looks like we got a truck up against the outside wall in between 3 and 4.
That's a 69 truck that has turned himself around over there. That is Derek White, who's had kind of a rough day here so forth. The AMR safety crew is over there on the scene. Caution back out here at the Speedway.
So, again, this is caution flag number 4 here in stage number 1. Makes things a little more interesting. Strategy-wise, at this particular point, for the guys up front like Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski.
I think we get to the end of the stage here as we come back around to pick up the pace car in turn 1. Corey Heim clicks off 4 laps to go in the stage with the 69 truck. Derek White down there. Some odd smoke coming out of the truck as he entered turn 3. Looks like his brakes were locked up. No control, no ability to slow that truck down as he climbs from that vehicle now with the AMR safety team on site. I don't think we go back green as the pace car just now picks up the field off turn 2, coming back to 3 to go this time.
I want to apologize to all the people who, on my radio show, I said, this is going to be a quick race. I preached that all morning long. I said, these stages are going to go by really fast.
So now we know
that. I'll
the reason.
do better. Yeah.
Yep, Pat threw us under the bus before we even knew that he had thrown the whole race under the bus.
And while we have the time, guys, allow me to clean up some oops I had as well earlier.
Okay.
I called Blake Lothian crashing earlier. It was Jason Alexander in the 02, that Young's Motorsports truck crashing earlier with the 74 Caleb Costner. So the 02 was the one that's out with Jason Alexander being out of this race. So apologies. The big impact down in turn 1, that was I had those trucks mixed up. Some blue, yellow, and white colors on both trucks. That constant contact truck was the one that crashed.
You've been absolved for that. Thank you. No problem.
Okay.
Hi, Mark.
Yeah. You've gone to the confessional. Right now, as we end stage number 1, as we keep an eye on the cutoff situation, 11 points underneath there, so he's minus 14 coming in. Jake Garcia now minus 11, minus 22 coming in. Chandler Smith is going to be minus 12 at the end of this opening stage.
Okay, well, as we look at our leaderboard, Andres De Lara Perez, we had that Nick Yeoman's call of him passing a lot of trucks, and I was going, how is he passing? He's the first truck on tires. He last pitted on lap 37. He's in 7th place, and he leads a trio of trucks, Brent Cruz, Dawson Sutton in 7th, 8th, and 9th, that have all already pitted and will be staying out, I believe, at this stage as they'll get a few points. None of them are worried about points in all reality. I think Brent Cruz is just happy to be back on the track, be on the track circling. Mark, we've seen him in a lot of chaos today.
Yeah, and you can't miss that car. I'm sorry, I did it again. Truck. You don't miss that truck. White with orange. I love orange on race cars and trucks because I think it's a racing color, just like yellow. Like when I used to watch the Indy 500, right? Rick Mears, yellow, fast. Orange, A.J. Foyt, really fast. So I love those two colors.
How about orange in the Cup race this weekend, Ross Chastain, Kubota?
Wow. I didn't know how you played into that. Great job. All right, let's give you a quick top 10. And this is the way they're going to end in stage number 1. Need to mention that for Corey Heim, this is going to be his 36th career Truck Series stage win, his 18th of the year. He now sets the new record. He had tied it last week with Kyle Busch at 35. So Corey Heim now has won more stages than anybody else in Craftsman Truck Series history. So here's the top 10 as the way they're going to finish stage number 1. Corey Heim will win the stage. Chandler Smith, 2nd. 3rd, Ty Majeski. Rajah Caruth, 4th. 5th, Jake Garcia. 6th, Caden Honeycutt. Andres Perez, 17th. 18th is Brent Cruz. Dawson Sutton, 9th. And 10th is going to be Tyler Ankrum.
This is Kyle Larson.
I'm David Grouse.
Hi, I'm Donnie Shaw.
This is Brian Brown.
This is Danny Dietrich. Wing Nation is your go-to destination for all the latest sprint car news and interviews from the stars of sprint car racing from around the country. This is Steve Post. Aaron Evernham, Ashley Strummy, and I will have all the latest news, insights, and conversations on Wing Nation's YouTube or Facebook pages, or listen and download and subscribe to Wing Nation on any podcast platform.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. Wing Nation. All sprint cars, all the time.
Jeff Gordon wins the Daytona 500.
Jeff Gordon's rise to one of NASCAR's all-time greatest drivers was one like no other. Relive Jeff Gordon's journey to the NASCAR Hall of Fame with the exclusive MRN podcast, Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career. 93 Cup Series wins, 4 Cup Series championships, and 3 Daytona 500 wins, a career rivaled by few others. Check out MRN's Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
From New Hampshire Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Inspiring story.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes back to the Daytona International Speedway. He will win the Pepsi 400.
I'm just a pilot, man. You know, I just want everybody to be happy. I want to do good, and hopefully all of my dad's fans enjoyed this. It's for all them.
Motor Racing Network's NASCAR Live presents podcast Junior's Journey. Jeff Gordon, a colorful career, 50 years of MRN, the 1993 season, the road to royalty, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We're back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Mark Garrow, Pat Patterson, Ross Chastain with Nick Yeoman. Our pit reporters today, Alan Cavana and Heather DeBoe. I can't begin to tell you, folks, how beautiful of a day it is up here in Loudon, New Hampshire. And as I look out at the racetrack and look out beyond the backstretch, there is a sea of campers back there that goes on, I think, all the way to the coast.
3,000, Mark. 3,000 campers here at this racetrack. One of the most camped racetrack. Think about Talladega. They get a lot of campers. You know, Daytona, obviously, gets a lot of. This place up here, they fill it up to go camping.
So what's it like to be out there with your camper?
These are my people. I mean, I am an RVer, so these are my people out here. They're great. They're having a good time. They're enjoying it. The dirt track was great last night, and obviously the music that they've had up here has been great. Tons and tons of entertainment, and believe me, this group out here, they find ways to entertain themselves. It's a lot of fun here.
And we want to officially let everybody know that Pat's grilling hot dogs and hamburgers for everybody.
Come on by.
All right, pit road is open. Corey Heim will lead them down onto the pit lane. Let's go to Heather DeBoe.
And Chandler Smith running in that second position, telling the team he's tight rolling the center, so they're going to take a round and a half out of the left rear. But overall, that truck much better than yesterday. It's a completely different truck. Also in the 98 of Ty Majeski, he said he's tight in the center and just does not have drive on exit, so just an air pressure adjustment for him. Alan Cavana.
Roger Caruth had a wonderful first stage driving up into the top 5. He says the splitter hits just a little bit, especially on all these restarts. They're going to make a chassis adjustment for the 71 truck. As for the leader, Corey Heim, no complaints on the radio. They are running well. They are going to make a small air pressure adjustment. They are on and off. Look like a clean stop, but some trucks out here on pit road passed him. He's not the first one off pit road.
Caden Honeycutt is the first one off the pit lane, followed by Heim, Majeski, Caruth. Chandler Smith falls from second to fifth. Grant Enfinger, Jake Garcia, Tyler Ankrum. They are the first 10 trucks off the pit lane, but need to mention that means, however, there's a lot of trucks that didn't pit that time.
And that's a whole lot of traffic to negotiate, Ross Chastain, when we get going here in a minute.
That's right. I believe this will be the first lap sled that I know of for Andres de Lara Perez in that 44 truck. Remember, guys, he started the year with Nice Motorsports, graduating from the ARCA Series as a champion, and then started with Spire. It didn't work out to keep that team open. He switches over to Nice Motorsports, the team I drive for, the truck I drove this year in my 5 races. So really cool to see these first laps. He'll get the first spot to choose as we go back green here.
Best finish of the season for him, 7th at Martinsville, next best 8th at Bristol in the second race, actually last week, 3 top 10s. Average finish 17.9. That's respectable right there.
Well, it wasn't clicking at Spire. We all saw that, and they decided to shut that team down, move some points around. I know the 77's still out there, but it's all, I'm not sure how all Jeff Dickerson and the greater group at the Spire team did all that, but Andres moved over, didn't miss a beat. Honestly, I would say is running better. And now has a chance to see nobody in front of him when he makes this choose, and then it'll be about executing through the restart zone. Just we're watching him learn this year for the first time, and this will be his first time as the leader.
Let's give you a full field rundown as we're about to start the second stage here at New Hampshire. So it's Andres Perez in the first spot, Brent Cruz second, third is Dawson Sutton, Gio Ruggiero fourth, fifth Matt Crafton, Patrick Emmerling sixth, seventh is Ben Rhodes, Daniel Hemrick eighth, ninth Christian Eckes, Lane Riggs in 10th.
Haley Curry runs 11th, 12th to Corey LaJoy, then it's Honeycutt and Heim right there in the 13th and 14th spot. Tom Majeski's 15th, 16th Rajah Caruth, Chandler Smith is 17th, Grant Enfinger 18th, 19th is Garcia, 20th is Tyler Ankrum.
Matt Mills 21st, Michael Christopher Jr. in the 22nd spot, Blake Lothian 23rd, Spencer Boyd 21st. Fourth, 25th, Tony Breidinger, 26th, Jack Wood. Mason Massey is going to be in the 27th position. In 28th, it's going to be Tyler Tomasi. Then Derek White, 29th. 30th, it's going to be Connor Jones.
We got a few trucks that are out of the race. Costner, Banning, and Mazzoli all are out of the race right now, including Connor Mozak, one of the early exits from the racetrack in the 81.
So the lights are off. The Toyota Supra Pace car. We're about to go green again here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This is the second stage of the Team EJP 175, the Craftsman Truck Series Round 1 cutoff race. So right now when they hit the line, 50 laps to decide the winner of stage number 2 in this event as they work their way out of turn number 4, about to enter the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. Back to Pat Patterson.
Andre Perez going to lead him. He is the control car. He gets in the throttle. We are off and running once again. Start finish. 2 by 2 by 2. Perez trying to hold on to the lead into 1.
Got some trucks moving out of line. That's Ben Rose, who went all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try to enter the top 5, but the lead is not settled. It's Perez on the outside. Brent Cruz on the bottom. Perez noses ahead as they head to turn 3.
Matt Crafton on the outside will take over the 4th spot as they jump into turn number 4. A number of trucks get together there, a bit of a jumble, but everybody will straighten it out. As they work out of turn 4, we stay under green. Perez will lead the lap. Brent Cruz trying to close in.
Yep, Brent Cruz runs in that second position. Then it's Giovanni Ruggiero who is threatening in the 3rd spot. 2 trucks side by side for the 4th position. That's Dawson Sutton and Matt Crafton. They run wheel to wheel at the exit of turn number 2. Looks like Crafton's going to have to settle into that 5th position.
A little bit of a breakaway now as Andre Perez does a great job up front. About 4 truck lengths he's out midway through 3 and 4. Cruz right behind him, just a few spots back, then battling off of the corner there. Here comes the 17 truck as he'll pull into the 3rd position.
And again, a lot of drivers not used to having clean air up front, but Andres Perez certainly has it. The advantage as he wraps around turns 1 and 2. It's about 2 to 3 car lengths over Brent Cruz with the damage to that right rear of that truck. Giovanni Ruggiero hanging tough. He may try to threaten into turn 3.
Yeah, Gio Ruggiero doing a nice job there as he'll stay down at the bottom of the racetrack in that 3rd spot. Matt Crafton on the move in the 15th or in the 5 spot right now. Here's the leader back to the stripe here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, Matt Crafton's got his mirrors being filled up at the exit of turn number 4 as he's settled in the 5th spot. That's Christian Eckes who takes a deep look to the inside, get it right to the left rear quarter panel of Matt Crafton. Crafton, though, has the drive up off the corner. He'll hold off Eckes down the backstretch.
Dawson Sutton doing a nice job in the 4th position right now as the field gets into turn number 3. Sutton's had some good runs this year right now trying to put one of those together here. Now here's the leader once again, Perez off of turn number 4 and back to the stripe.
Yep, the advantage is about 4 car lengths at the start-finish line as he bends it back to the left into turn number 1, running right in that middle groove up off the bottom of the racetrack. Brent Cruz runs in 2nd. You got Ruggiero taking a peek to the inside. Can't get the bite up off of turn number 2. He'll sit there in 3rd. Then you've got Sutton comfortably in 4th.
Watching Caden Honeycutt now, battling with Corey Heim. They're trying to chase down Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick currently holding the 7th spot as they come down to the line. 45 to go here in stage number 2. And Heim has lost the spot to Caden Honeycutt.
Yeah, sorry, I wanted to jump in there because you're right. Those are the drivers to watch that restarted mid-pack after pitting. Looks like Corey Heim's going to have to get up on the wheel. Right behind Heim, they're going 3 wide with Chandler Smith on the bottom, Lane Riggs on the outside. Guys, I'm not sure who's getting sandwiched there, but quite a battle into turn 3.
And here they go once again into turn 3. Heim now has kind of separated himself from Honeycutt. Honeycutt moves up the racetrack. Meanwhile, the battle's going to be for 2nd as we watch the number 1 truck of Brent Cruz and Gio Ruggiero Ruggiero's right there in front of Nick.
I think that was Patrick Emmerling. It was the car that lost out in the middle of that three-wide battle. But to Pat's point, the battle for second is looking pretty hot and heavy out of turn number 2. Giovanni Ruggiero's got a good dig, good run up off the bottom. He's going to challenge Cruz into turn 3.
He drives up to the driver's door of the Cruz truck in turn number 3. Cruz up the racetrack, working hard on the very bottom is Gio Ruggiero. Can he get the good run off of turn number 4? No, he has to settle in behind the Brent Cruz truck as Dawson Sutton now closes in.
That is great news for our race leader, Andres Perez, who has checked out to about an 8 truck length advantage. Ruggiero, though, will simply not go away. He got a great run off of turn number 2, going to try to pull even with Brett Cruz into 3.
Cruz may have held up the line just a little bit there now. He's going to be forced up in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Down at the bottom of the racetrack, though, Cruz battles back and actually can hold Ruggiero down a little bit. Doesn't allow him to make that move as they work off the stripe.
Yeah, Pat, can't tell if Ruggiero's truck is just not good holding that bottom line or if Cruz has it working nicely exiting turns 2 and turns 4. They will continue to battle, though, this time off of turn number 2. Ruggiero right there on the left rear tire as Cruz noses ahead back into turn 3.
Matt Crafton now trying to hold off Christian Eckes. That is the fight for 5th place, and behind them a big snarl of traffic. Here's Ruggiero now underneath the Brent Cruz truck. He'll take over the 2nd spot. Dawson Sutton now takes a look to the inside, but behind them, Nick Yeoman, a big pack of trucks.
Yeah, and that's where all our heavy hitters and front runners are running as we watch Corey Heim and Chandler Smith, Lane Riggs try to pick their way through the traffic. And meanwhile, Heim sees Caden Honeycutt run to his outside, and then you've got those front row teammates. They run side by side, drag racing into turn 3.
And Ross Chastain, that's a good battle back there with those guys. When you look at Heim and Honeycutt and so forth, they're carefully working their way back through the field.
We saw something that I don't believe we've witnessed all year. Corey Heim got past. It was not for the lead, but Caden Honeycutt, a Toyota teammate for that Halmore Friesen team, did pass him and has put a truck in between himself and the 11 truck now of Corey Heim as he gets by Matt Crafton on the outside, sets his sights on Daniel Hemrick just ahead.
They stay very tight together, though, midway down the backstretch here at the Magic Mile. Chandler Smith right in the middle of that one as well. He'll force Heim up the racetrack just a little bit here in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Perez continues to lead off of 4. Matt Crafton getting double teamed there. He loses a couple of spots.
Boy, how about that? They just split Matt Crafton off of turn number 4. Corey Heim to the outside, Chandler Smith to the inside. They made quick work of Matt Crafton. They'll continue to battle side by side off of turn number 2. Corey Heim's got the bite. Chandler Smith hanging strong. Again, this is happening just outside of the top 5.
71 laps complete here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and you're listening to the NASCAR Racing Network.
So you're a Toyota Cup driver and you just made it to the playoffs. Now all you have to do is win. Easy. Just turn left, right? That and start strong, take off, reach 200 miles per hour, maintain a good position, no big deal, lap again, time your pit stops, steer clear of accidents, talk to your crew chief like your best friend, and most importantly, turn left. Easy, right? You in? Get up to speed at tgrna.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC.
NASCAR fans, get ready to feel the rush. The official NASCAR Tracks app is your ultimate race day companion. From managing your event tickets to navigating with wayfinding maps, event schedules, and facility info, it's got everything you need to make your experience unforgettable.
Ready, green flag, green
Bring
flag.
your headphones and dive into the action like never before with live scanner access.
Got a race to win, my man.
Listen in on driver and team communications at select NASCAR Tracks. Download NASCAR Tracks now on the Apple App Store or Google Play.
So at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Andres Perez is leading as he goes by the line, 18 laps led. Prior to today on the Craftsman Truck Series, he had led a grand total of 0. So great news as he kind of breaks through, gets to check that off the bucket list. He is currently out front. Gio Ruggiero, though, starting to stalk him in turn 3. The rest of our current top 5, Dawson Sutton, Brent Cruz, and Christian Eckes. From New Hampshire, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered. NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Kyle Rickey. Join Chris Wilner and I each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We also talk to rising stars from your favorite short track. That's NASCAR Coast to Coast. Watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or your favorite podcast platform.
Back here live at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the playoff truck race going on right now, and a shout out to Daniel Hemrick in the 19 truck. Their day started poorly. They were in a wreck and had a ton of damage, especially on the right side, but they have used multiple pit stops and a little strategy to get themselves a track position and running well inside the top 10. So many of their pit stops, though, were focused on the right side of the truck and making sure that it was still smooth. The body was nice. All the tape that they put on it was not creating any sort of effect to affect the aero of the truck. You might not think aerodynamics at a track like New Hampshire, 1 mile oval, but I'll throw the question to our friend Ross Chastain up there in the booth. How important is aero at a track like this?
Absolutely, Alan, and that 19 team has done an incredible job. We saw them get into the wall earlier, but they have made that truck a top 5 truck for now. As Andres Perez still leads in that 44 truck, but he's got Gio Ruggiero right on his back bumper, Mark.
They're in turn number 1.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal battle as Giovanni Ruggiero has just inched his way forward, but passing Andres Perez has been a little bit more difficult than running him down. This time down the back straightaway. Ruggiero runs the inside, Perez runs the outside. They'll get nose to tail again into turn 3.
They're going to catch some lap traffic. We're going to see how that might work out for them. They may not get to them on this lap. However, Perez doing a great job, holds on to the lead. Once again, it is tight up front for the lead here at the Magic Mile.
Now, lap truck of Taylor Gray going to stay to the inside. He'll allow those 2 leaders to roar around the outside. Again, Perez by about a nose over Ruggiero, and as they battle, Dawson Sutton fears he may be catching him as well. That battle for the lead rages on into turn 3.
Ruggiero can catch him, Ross, but he can't quite get by. What's going on right there?
Well, you go back to aerodynamics. The air plays such a big role. Like Alan documented, that 19 team, all that Daniel Hemrick's team worried about on all the pit stops was getting the body in the best possible spot. Sometimes you can actually take a body that's been a little damaged and make it better than it went through the tech process pre-race. Now, if you finish well, you will have to go back through tech post-race. So Daniel Hemrick's team has to know that. It's usually not egregious. It's just let's get it on the good side of fixed as we do it. You know, as we look at our top 5, who's entered the equation? Corey Heim.
Also, need to mention Dawson Sutton running in the 3rd spot. He hasn't gone anywhere. As a matter of fact, Ross, right now it looks like he's picking up on the lead, too.
That's right. Andres has stretched out about a 1 truck length lead between him and Gio, and he's moving his line around. It looks like he's visibly lower off turn 2, a little bit more in the line of where Gio was running as he caught him, and that's probably information coming from the spotter on top of our booth here, standing out in the middle of this glorious day here in New Hampshire, and OTD, the online form. You can see the trucks in a GPS cartoon, I'll say, format that you can see left and right, forward and backwards of each truck where they're running on track. It's a lot of simulated information as far as throttle and brake, but when it comes to the trucks, you can see that the crew chief, Wally Rogers of the 44, could probably see the 17. Gio Ruggiero was running lower on the racetrack, and now Andres has moved down, taken his line away, and opened up a couple truck length lead.
So right now, watching the battle for the 6th position, Daniel Hemrick has it. Brent Cruz is 7th, and Chandler Smith, Lane Riggs, Corey LaJoy, Caden Honeycutt kind of balled up there as they work their way down across the stripe and back to turn number 1.
Yeah, that's been a pretty good battle, again, just outside the top 5 as they bend their way into turn number 1. Daniel Hemrick's advantage over Chandler Smith is about 2 truck lengths. Then you look about 4 back, and you see the Bristol winner, Lane Riggs, who gets a good run off of turn number 2. Then another 5 back to Brent Cruz, who, again, is on a little bit older tires than some of those trucks in front of him.
Here's the leaders once again working their way out of turn at number 4. The 2 guys up front better enjoy it and like leading that party, Nick, because I can see that 11 truck and he's headed to the front.
Yeah, I think the 2 fastest trucks on the racetrack right now are Christian Eckes, who runs in 4th. Alan documented that team's rebound. And then to your point, Corey Heim is coming. There's no doubt about it. He is in 5th. Still has to find about 8 car lengths to run down Eckes, but that 11 truck is starting to point its way to the front where it was for most of this race.
Last lap, Gio Ruggiero scored the fastest lap, but he still can't get by Andres Perez. Perez, though, he's loose out of turn number 4. Now Ruggiero will close in again in turn 1.
And again, Perez running the middle of the racetrack. Ruggiero running the bottom out of turn number 2. Perez trying to build up the momentum to hold the lead. Ruggiero has a bit of a run, but it stalls out midway point of the backstretch.
Go down to the pit road, and Heather DeBow.
And just listening in on the team communication for the 52 of Hayden Honeycutt, he's running in that 11th position. Now, he pit on lap 57. They took right side tires only. They made up 5 positions on pit road. Worked out well for them. At one point, he was running ahead of Corey Heim, but now he's dropping back and just trying to get back into the top 10. The team telling him, please try to maintain your position and don't slide the tires. He said, I'm trying, but I'm losing all grip in the left rear. I'm absolutely losing that tire. So right now, those 2 tires showing their disadvantage to 4 at this point in the race.
Gio Ruggiero draws alongside leader Andres Perez. When they went into turn 3, his truck jumped in the air. When he hit the bump, he is still inside of Andres Perez at the line. Perez, though, holds the advantage, but maybe for only one more lap.
Yeah, this is as close as he has been, Mark. Giovanni Ruggiero pulls even with Perez through turns 1, even exiting turn number 2. Now it's a flat-out drag race as they race down to turn 3.
That outside line still works well for him down in 1 and 2. Right now he's trying to get down to the bottom of the racetrack here in 3 and 4. Perez still has a half a trunk lead, but that was just the medicine Dawson Sutton was looking for. He's going to catch up to the top 2.
Boy, this is really good stuff from some drivers that we're not used to talking about at the front of the field. A great battle for the lead. Andres Perez by about half a truck length on Giovanni Ruggiero, and then Dawson Sutton right there sitting about 2 to 3 truck lengths behind with both Eckes and Heim closing in. Lead battle rages on again into turn 3.
Eckes and Heim have broken away from Chandler Smith as they begin to reel in the lead trio as they come out of turn number 4, as they cross the stripe. 20 laps to go in stage number 2. Again, Ruggiero mounts a charge in turn number 1.
And I think the interesting thing is Andres Perez has been very consistent with his line. Just 1 truck width off the bottom. Now he moves down to kind of seal off that inside line and again holds off Ruggiero out of turn 2.
Let's document that the 15 truck just pulled into the garage. That is Tanner Gray. He has pulled in and I guess has given it up for today, Mark.
And as they work out of turn 4, Perez still your leader. The rest of our top 5 with 19 laps to go in stage number 2. It is Gio Ruggiero in the 2nd spot. Dawson Sutton, Christian Eckes is 4th, Corey Heim in 5th.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, Two Dudes in the Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, that's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
Oh, Kansas.
Here we go. Second half today.
You just don't stop giving, do you?
Green flag, we're underway.
The closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history.
What a finish, boys.
Close to downtown, amazing campgrounds. 3 NASCAR races in 1 weekend, and it's the playoffs.
God damn right.
Now you're just showing off. But we're not mad. In fact, we're looking forward to it. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Kansas Speedway, September 26th through the 28th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Today's Restart Zone is brought to you by Echo Park Automotive. Every car, happy owner. From the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, Two Dudes in a Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, that's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
Don't miss a moment of the NASCAR season.
Chastain drove it and never lifted. Put it against the safer barrier and all the way around the turn. Passes Denny Hamlin.
Check out the Motor Racing Network's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and the NASCAR Cup Series on hundreds of local radio stations around the country. Find your local station by going to mrn.com to catch the excitement of NASCAR on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
$14 laps to go in stage 2. Gio Ruggiero again challenging for the lead in turn number 1.
He is door to door with Andres Perez through turn number 1. Now they wrap around that left-hander of turn number 2. They are still even. This is as strong as Ruggiero has looked on the bottom as they set up for turn 3.
And I'll tell you what, as Perez holds up to the top side of that battle, they continue side by side. One looks like he gets into each other just a little bit there. Perez works the outside lane. They'll stay door to door as they hit the stripe.
Yeah, and at the stripe, they were dead even. Back into turn number 1. Perez running the outside, Ruggiero running the bottom. They're catching the lap truck of Tony Breidinger. We'll see if she plays into it, but it is still a drag race door to door off of turn number 2.
Gio Ruggiero to the inside. Andres Perez on the outside as they work into turn 3. Breidinger goes up the racetrack. Perez will dive to the bottom in front of Ruggiero to hold off the top spot and get by the slower truck. In the meantime, Dawson Sutton's got company. Corey Heim trying to track him down for third place.
Yeah, it was about 5 or 6 laps ago that Corey Heim picked off Christian Eckes to move into the 4th position, and he continues to march his way forward in that safe light machine. That red and white truck is about 3 car lengths behind Dawson Sutton down the backstretch.
Yeah, it has been a good battle up front between Perez and Ruggiero as they continue to work nose to tail now through 3 and 4. That is drawing Corey Heim and Dawson Sutton ever so closer. Here they come back by the stripe again. Perez leads another lap.
Yep, across the start-finish line, Perez in that blue and white truck dives it down into turn number 1. The advantage about a truck length and a half over Giovanni Ruggiero. Dawson Sutton has been able to hang with those two, but it's never more than about 5 or 6 truck lengths. He's got to worry, though, about Corey Heim, who is closing in into turn 3.
Last lap by Corey Heim, 1.6 seconds back, but there's only 10 laps to go in stage number 2. Ross, is he going to have enough time to get to the front? His tire's 20 laps better than the lead 3.
I think if they get to racing any more than they are, as we just clicked off 10 laps to go in the stage, like you said, if Andres and Gio race side by side, yes, Corey has a shot. If they stay, relatively in line like they are, then I believe
trouble. Turn 1, we've got a truck up against the outside wall. It is Patrick Emmerling. Something broke on that truck. Might have had a flat tire. He drove it into turn number 1, and it simply did not turn. He hit the outside wall with the right side of that truck, then did a 180 and is pointed the wrong direction just at the exit of turn 1, guys.
After a green flag run of 42 laps, we get our 5th caution flag in the Team EJP 175 here on the Magic Mile. Stage number 1 ended under yellow.
I don't think it will this time. It looked like to me, and Ross, tell me what you think, but he drove away from over there. I think they'll actually be able to maybe do a quickie here and get us going again. We may be able to still finish this stage under the green.
Yeah, I believe so, and I believe that's what NASCAR always wants. We all want it as we see a left front tire down on Patrick's truck as he limps back to pit road after passing the pace car. Yes, I think that we can go back green. Big decisions here by your entire field. Everybody wants tires to start stage 3. Who gives up the stage points and who comes and gets tires now and who tries to hang on and get some points?
I was just going to say, man, oh man, now you have some big choices to make. If you are near the cut line, you got to go and try to steal the stage points. If you're a Jake Garcia way back in the pack and everybody pits in front of you, you've got to move up. You've got to take the points. Some of these guys like Heim, Lane Riggs, guys that really don't care about the points, maybe an easier decision. But for some of these guys, this could be everything in trying to make the cutoff and move into round 2 of the Craftsman Truck Series playoff.
The top 4 drivers on track now, top 3 drivers, 20-lap older tires than Corey Heim, who has the freshest tires. So everybody will be trying to decide what they do. You mentioned Jake Garcia, running back in 20th at the time of caution, nowhere near stage points that he needs. He was so strong in stage 1. He's nowhere close to stage points right now.
Pit road will open this time by. Ross, you mentioned we were talking about aerodynamics earlier. It was amazing for Perez and them to make as much as they made out of the clean air they had up there, and these other guys just couldn't quite get there.
Big decision for Wally Rogers, crew chief on Andres' truck right now, as well as, you say, Corey Heim running in 4th.
So pit road is open. Let's go down to Heather DeBow.
And let's talk about Dawson Sutton in that 26. He said that he's losing all time in 3 and 4 and just tight in traffic. Also the 17 of Gio Ruggiero. He was quiet on the radio up until they went to caution there. He said he's just tight in the front end and snapping loose and looking for more entry stability. But for those front row motorsports drivers, the 38 of Chandler Smith and the 34 of Lane Riggs, they're both just too tight. Alan Cavana.
Corey Heim has nothing to worry about but chasing that checkered flag, so they think this is the winning strategy. They're pitting now over on the right side. His crew chief, Scott Cipodelli, said, make this a good pit stop because it's probably our last one of the day. No changes for Corey Heim. Just ahead of him, Daniel Hemrick. Remember, they flipped the stages earlier. They're going to put more tires on there and get the 19 truck back out there.
Going to be close at the pit line. Andres Perez beats out Corey Heim. Gio Ruggiero in the 3rd spot, followed by Lane Riggs, Chandler Smith, Daniel Hemrick, Corey LaJoy, Caden Honeycutt, Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum. They're the top 10 trucks off the pit lane. So what do you think, guys?
Well, I see one truck, I believe, that stayed on track for sure, Rajah Caruth in that 71 truck. So he's playing the gamble. He says, I want the front row. I have old tires, but he will be your leader when they come around for the choose. Andres will get to choose 2nd with Corey Heim choosing 3rd.
I think that might have been smart. I think Bono might have looked at that and gone, you know what? I mean, that clean air is worth something. And even if you end up backing up a few spots from it, you still score a little bit there.
Close to 50-lap older tires, guys. He better get a good launch and then hope it sticks in turn 1.
I was just going to say, in the risk-reward ratio of this move, I'm not sure I like it. With all the guys that pitted, Rajah Caruth, he's either going to win big or lose big after this pit stop. Let's go back down to Alan Cavana.
And that is the exact scenario that they're talking about on Rajah's radio right now. Crew Chief Bono Mannion came on and said, look, more people pitted than I anticipated. So that's a lot of fresh tires behind him. But they said, Rajah, just be up on the wheel, get out there. We want max points, maybe even an extra bonus point for getting that stage win. So he's got some work to do with a lot of tires behind him, but they are still happy with the scenario. They want as many points as they can get.
And I think the worst part is that he's the only one. He has nobody to his inside to help keep them back at least in turn 1. So Andres, Corey, they will be on the charge with these fresh tires. I believe that Rajah's best chance is a quick caution like we saw at the start of the race.
So the yellow flag is still out. They come by the line. That puts 5 to go. They get the 1 to go the next time by. If they do, they get the 1 to go. That will leave 3 laps to go. Have I got that right? So we're 5, and then we get the 1 to go at 4, and then that's 3 at the green flag. That'll be the longest 3 miles of Rajah Caruth's racing career, because this could be for it right here. He's got to stay in the top 10. Got to stay in the top 10.
You guys keep bringing up all this math. You know I'm the driver, right? That's my full-time job. I leave this to the crew chiefs and y'all to figure out the math. But, yes, my driver math says, Raj, get gone quickly and hope the yellow flag comes out for something behind you.
So when he gets into the Echo Park Automotive restart zone, he better go as soon as the nose of that truck touches it. He's got to get gone.
Well, spinning the tires, my friends, will ruin your day. Of course, that'll ruin the whole field here if that happens up front. So we'll see if that's going to come into play here. But it is dangerous, particularly at this racetrack. You can spin them pretty easy here, Ross.
So who is going to line up beside Rajah Caruth? Who's going to line up behind him? So they're about to choose. Caruth to the outside, inside Andres Perez. Corey Heim is going to go with Perez. Gio Ruggiero on the outside of row 2.
Yeah, I think for Gio, you're just left with what you're left with, and you're just hoping it's not too bad. You're hoping Raj gets up out of the way in turn 1 if it's that bad. High risk right here for Gio. I think Corey's taking the safe bet. Follow Andres. For Andres now, you can't launch first. You can beat him to the line. You just cannot be the first truck to take off. And for NASCAR, they're at about our same vantage point, just down to our right up here in the booth. They will be looking at it just like we are to make sure that 44 truck, does not go first.
Believe it or not, I got the math right. We're going to go 3 with 3 to go in stage 2. We'll go green.
Well, all I know is I have watched Chandler Smith restart about 3 or 4 times now, and each time he has, no matter what truck's in front of him, he has pushed them really hard. We'll see if that comes into play right here. The field is set now. Pace car hits the pit road. We'll see what Raja's got for him as he gets ready to restart here at the Magic Mile. Green flag is in the air. Here goes Carruth. He's got about a half a truck length on the field as they head to turn 1.
Raja Carruth gets the launch that he needs. Now can those tires hold up? Too slow on the outside. Andres Perez, he'll storm to the inside, take the race lead. Corey Heim is right there as well. Carruth slips back to 3rd, but it's Perez and Heim battling for the race lead into turn 3.
Heim ducks to the inside of Perez as they enter the third turn. He easily clears him. Heim is back out front. Raja Carruth in the 3rd spot, though, under heavy pressure from Chandler Smith. Ruggiero closing in, as well as Lane Riggs.
All told, pretty savvy move for Raja Carruth. Slips back to 3rd, and now he's threatening Andres Perez, looking for 2nd on those old tires. That car, though, that truck is very sideways. That's going to open the door. Chandler Smith storming to the inside, looking for 3rd.
Chandler Smith wants that 3rd spot. He's going to grab it right here if he can get down to the bottom of the racetrack. Meanwhile, Heim is way out in front by about 7-8 truck lengths now as he races off of turn number 4.
Corey Heim across the start-finish line with a monster advantage over Andres Perez. Then it's Chandler Smith who runs in 3rd. They're going 3 wide for 4th. Lane Riggs on the bottom, Ruggiero in the middle, and Raja Carruth just trying to hang on for dear life. Looks like Lane Riggs is going to get the best of that battle. He'll take 4th down the backstretch.
A half a lap left in stage number 2 here at New Hampshire. Raja Carruth trying to hold on to anything in the top 10. Trucks going to his inside, outside as they work out a turn number 4. Corey Heim has won the stage. Perez is going to finish 2nd. 3rd is going to be Chandler Smith. Lane Riggs winds up 4th. Gio Ruggiero 5th. 6th is Corey LaJoie. Raja Carruth holds on for 7th. 8th, Daniel Hemrick. Caden Honeycutt 9th. And 10th, Grant Enfinger.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal.
Does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Don't miss a moment of the NASCAR season.
Chastain drove it and never lifted. Put it against the safer barrier and all the way around the turn. Passes Denny Hamlin.
Check out the Motor Racing Network's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and the NASCAR Cup Series on hundreds of local radio stations around the country. Find your local station by going to MRN.com to catch the excitement of NASCAR on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco fuels peak performance. From New Hampshire, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
NASCAR history.
Petty wins his 200th career NASCAR victory.
Told by the people who made that history.
President Reagan was there. He got us on the front page, and we got him in the sports page. It was a good trade-off from that standpoint.
Motor Racing Network's NASCAR Live presents podcast The Road to Royalty. Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career, 50 Years of MRN, the 1993 season, Junior's Journey, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
After a devastating storm that brings down trees and homes, so many families have nowhere to turn. That's why Samaritan's Purse responds immediately after hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and fires all across the country. Our volunteer teams bring tools and compassion to homeowners who have lost not only possessions, but more importantly, hope. You can help. Join with Samaritan's Purse. Log on to SamaritansPurse.org.
NASCAR Live presents podcast The Road to Royalty. 50 Years of MRN, the 1993 season, Junior's Journey, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
After a devastating storm that brings down trees and homes, so many families have nowhere to turn. That's why Samaritan's Purse responds immediately after hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and fires all across the country. Our volunteer teams bring tools and compassion to homeowners who have lost not only possessions, but more importantly, hope. You can help. Join with Samaritan's Purse. Log on to SamaritansPurse.org.
We're back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, so glad you could join us. Mark Garrow with Ross Chastain, Pat Patterson high atop this racetrack, Nick Yeoman doing yeoman work over there in turns 1 and 2. Gotta like that. And, of course, patrolling pit road, Heather DeVoe and Alan Cavana. And we're under yellow after the second stage here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So, in winning that stage, Corey Heim now adds to the record, 37 for the Craftsman Truck Series. 7th time this year he's won both stages. Twice he has swept the entire deal. Won both stages and then grabbed the checkered flag. So he's looking to do that for a third time.
And nobody's surprised. Period.
I don't see any shock on your face.
No, I'm really not. In fact, we almost set a record there for the most laps ever called in a truck race this year that we didn't say Corey Heim's name. The fact that he was back there riding and so forth. But, hey, Ross, he was doing exactly what he needed to do, and so were all the rest of these guys that are in this championship chase, taking their time, work their way through the traffic. Big kudos to Perez, though. He did a nice job of leading out front.
That was incredible. I mean, when he led so long, we went through the field. We talked about other battles, and as we'd come back to check in on the leader, the 44, Andres Perez, still was leading the race. So, barring that caution, I think he wins that stage. And as we look here, lonely trip down pit road for Rajah Caruth, Daniel Hemrick, Chandler, Christian Eckes.
Yeah, there's those drivers making their way down to service as we see the 71 get into their pit. Let's go to Heather DeVoe.
Well, Rajah Caruth in, one of the few takers after he stayed out, but was able to get those stage points. They've been happy with the changes that they've made. He says he's a little trouble in traffic, but he likes the overall feel of the truck. He asked about the point situation. His crew told him, don't worry about that. Keep doing what you're doing, and we'll be fine. Rajah Caruth on and off pit road.
So, speaking of points, he didn't want to hear the math, but we have it. Right now, going into the third stage, Rajah Caruth is 14 points above the cut line. Grant Enfinger, 16. Then you have Tyler Ankrum, plus 12, as well as Caden Honeycutt, minus 12, and he came into this race, minus 22. Chandler Smith, and then, of course, you have the Jake Garcia in the 10th spot right now, minus 27. So Garcia has got an uphill climb. Chandler Smith still in that no man's land. He's got to get a little bit of help here in the third and final stage.
He does, and he's got a couple of drivers like you just talked about that could fall back to him. I'd say Rajah Caruth only plus 14, really Grant Enfinger plus 16 in 5th place, all the way back to Chandler in 11th. So with Chandler being so fast, running third, I think he's a little stronger than Andres in the 44. As we come back to the restart here in a few laps, let's go down to Heather DeVoe.
And Chandler Smith trying to be aggressive to get track position. Like I said at the beginning of the show, he is going for the win today, but he was telling his team he's a little bit paranoid about being aggressive because of Darlington. If you remember, he cut a right front tire in that race, hit the wall, and ended up finishing 30th. So he does not want to put himself in a bad position here while trying to be aggressive. But he also told his team that keep me updated on points. I want to know what's happening. And his crew chief told him all we can do right now is maximize our day. So just keep yourself safe out there. Be aggressive, and we'll get done what we need to. Alan Cavana.
Heather, it's so interesting. That cut line keeps moving, and right now it's Tyler Ankrum and Caden Honeycutt, which is good. You want to be on the good side of it, but if there's a new winner, say like Chandler Smith, who's up there contending, that cut line becomes very dangerous. Tyler Ankrum on the radio right now in a good position, like I said, but he told the team they have zero grip out there, so they've been trying to make adjustments to give him a little bit better of a truck because he wants to get ahead of Hayden Honeycutt, that 52 truck, and just get nowhere near that cut line anymore. He wants some safety.
NASCAR just updated the points. Chandler Smith currently has the 8th spot. He and Rajah Caruth are tied. They are tied. Minus 23 is Jake Garcia. Plus 14, Caden Honeycutt. Plus 15, Tyler Ankrum. So the Chandler Smith, Rajah Caruth deal, holy smokes. And right now, as we take a look at the field, Rajah Caruth is going to restart in 21st position.
And we believe Rajah's strong enough to drive forward from there. He will have a few lap pressure tires in the neighborhood of 10 or 11 laps on guys like Chandler Smith. But I believe he will drive forward from there, as well as Jake Garcia. But Jake did not show the speed in Stage 2, ran around 20th most of the time after being in the top 5 earlier in the race.
So Rajah Caruth right now at this point has room to move up and gain points. Chandler Smith in third does not have the same height. The ceiling is a little bit tighter right there for him. So he, at this point, needs to be thinking win. And what I am perceiving to be a potential finish as I look out as the guru looks into his crystal ball.
Here we go.
Corey Heim trying to win his 9th race, ties the record for Greg Biffle, and denies Chandler Smith a chance to move into the second round. That's the way it could add up, boys, at the end of this deal.
Could be.
All right, so let's set the field for you. Corey Heim is your leader. Andres Perez second. Third, Chandler Smith. Lane Riggs fourth. Fifth, Gio Ruggiero. Sixth is Corey LaJoie. Caden Honeycutt seventh. Eighth, Grant Enfinger. Ty Majeski is ninth. And 10th is Bailey Curry.
Tyler Ankrum sits in the 11th spot. 12th is Brent Cruz. 13th, Matt Crafton. Dawson Sutton 14th. Christopher Rudd's in the 15th spot. 16th is Matt Mills. Jack Wood 17th. 18th, Cody Breidinger. 19th, Daniel Hemrick, and Ben Rhodes is in the 20th spot.
Rajah Caruth again 21st. 22nd, Christian Eckes. Spencer Boyd 23rd. 24th, Jake Garcia. Blake Lothian 25th. Mason Massey 26th. Tyler Tomasi 27th. Patrick Emmerling 28th. Tanner Gray is going to be 29th. And rounding out our top 30, it's going to be Derek White as they get set to get into the Echo Park Automotive restart zone as our Toyota Supra pace car ducks onto the pit lane. 57 laps to go to decide this race today.
Here comes Heim. Chandler Smith down in the bottom. Heim getting a good push there from the 44 of Andre Perez. They race into turn one.
Heim has been so strong on restarts all day long, and that advantage is going to give him the race lead as he wraps it around turns 1 and 2. In fact, Perez might have missed the entrance of turn 1. He'll get drop kicked from 3rd to 5th, but it is Heim and Smith, your leaders into turn 3.
Gio Ruggiero did the shimmy down the middle of Lane Riggs and Andres Perez. He jumps into 3rd. Perez is way out of shape. Riggs gets by. Also, Corey LaJoie, Caden Honeycutt driving hard now to the inside of Andres Perez. He might have a problem as he works his way to turn 1.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that truck, or maybe he got so high that he dirtied up those tires. But Andres Perez, who again has run up front. In fact, I see a little smoke coming out of the back of that truck, so maybe a fender rub. He has fallen outside of the top 5.
And it is some tight racing back there from 8th, 9th, and 10th. Back there with Majeski and Curry and that group, they try to sort it all out. Meanwhile, up front, Heim has total control. About 3 truck lengths separate first to second.
Yep, it's Chandler Smith who runs in that second position. Of course, a win would move him into the next round. He'll stare at the back of that Safe Light Toyota through turns 1 and 2. Giovanni Ruggiero running right there in 3rd. 3-car, 3-truck breakaway at the front down the backstretch.
Rajah Caruth jumped from 21st up to 17th. He's trying to use those tires right now, Ross, to get as much ground as he can.
That's right. Big issues for Andres Perez. Contact with Lane Riggs as Lane went by on that first lap of the restart. He's really slow all the way to the back of the pack now. Looks like he'll be coming to pit road this time.
Let's pick up Rajah Caruth. He's coming down the straightaway, crosses the stripe. He's trying to track down Matt Crafton. That's for 15th.
And as you guys pointed out, the point situation, he has to get aggressive. In fact, almost made contact with Matt Crafton at the apex of turns 1 and 2. That HendrickCars.com truck settles in line as he watches a couple cars go side by side into 3.
Yeah, Brett Cruz making some moves right in front of Crafton there as they work along, trying to see what Rajah can pick up. Can't really get anything done in the middle of 3 and 4 this time. Will race right up and try to hang on to the bumper, but he's being challenged by Eckes on the bottom.
Yeah, Christian Eckes has a good challenge on the inside as they, notice the tail into turn number 1. Eckes right behind Crafton, Caruth right behind Cruz. Boy, Eckes goes all the way below the apron, very tied up off of turn number 2.
A heartbreaker for Andres Perez. He has to pit. That is going to cost him at least 1 lap. Here's Heim coming down to the stripe. 52 laps to go in this race. Watching a great battle. Matt Crafton is back there. He's trying to hold off Brent Cruz, Rajah Caruth. Also, Christian Eckes and Jake Garcia has joined the battle as well.
And again, these are incredibly tense moments for Rajah Caruth, who is so close to being knocked out of the playoffs. He gets around Matt Crafton, now sets his sights on Brett Cruz, right on the rear deck lid of that car as they head to turn 3.
Rajah Caruth is going to need to be careful and not push his issue too fast, too far here. Got a lot of racing left to be done. Eckes now challenges Crafton, bottom of the racetrack. He'll try to make that move. They get side by side as they work their way all 4.
Yep, they're side by side down the front straightaway. Matt Crafton to the outside, Christian Eckes to the bottom. Eckes drives it in very, very deep. He'll try to throw the slide job at Matt Crafton, pulls it off, makes that pass work as they race up off of turn number 2.
So Rajah Caruth, since the restart, has moved from 21st up to 14th, currently has a 6-point lead now in that battle with Chandler Smith for the final spot in this Craftsman Truck Series cutoff race to make their way into round number 2. But Corey Heim is your leader with 50 laps to go here at New Hampshire.
NASCAR fans, get ready to feel the rush. The official NASCAR Tracks app is your ultimate race day companion. From managing your event tickets to navigating with wayfinding maps, event schedules, and facility info, it's got everything you need to make your experience unforgettable.
Ready, green flag, green
Bring
flag.
your headphones and dive into the action like never before with live scanner access.
Got a race to win, my man.
Listen in on driver and team communications at select NASCAR Tracks. Download NASCAR Tracks now in the Apple App Store or Google Play.
Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me along with the cast and crew of the Motor Racing Network every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. Hear exclusive interviews.
I do think that if you're always are scared to make the big moves, you're just always going to be following the person that did.
The best moments from each of NASCAR's premier series.
Reddick slides up the racetrack. Briscoe gets away off turn 4.
And in-depth breakdowns of the latest NASCAR news and more. It's NASCAR Live every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern.
Caution is out here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for an incident in turn 1. Nick Yeoman.
It's Tyler Tomasi who backed it in pretty hard at the exit of turn number 1. He was running at the rear of the field with Spencer Boyd. Those two made contact. Tomasi was on the outside. He got the worst of it. One-car incident. Tomasi looks like he's going to be able to limp away, but there is some very heavy damage to the back of that number 33 truck, guys.
127 laps complete from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
You're not going to want to miss tonight's county fair. I'm going to be...
We are your window to your community.
Did you see the last 5 minutes of that football game last night?
Oh, man, I saw the whole thing.
And a lifeline to keep you safe when danger is near.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can. This is one of the biggest storms.
We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Jeff Gordon wins the Daytona 500.
Jeff Gordon's rise to one of NASCAR's all-time greatest drivers was one like no other. Relive Jeff Gordon's journey to the NASCAR Hall of Fame with the exclusive MRN podcast, Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career. 93 Cup Series wins, 4 Cup Series championships, and 3 Daytona 500 wins, a career rivaled by few others. Check out MRN's Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
We've got 46 laps to go here at New Hampshire. We're under yellow for the 7th time in the Team EJP 175, the round 1 cutoff race for the Craftsman Truck Series. Pit road is open. Most of these teams have a set of tires laying there, and most of them have just gone by the decision cone, if you will. Now we see Matt Crafton. He jumps on maybe to get that last set of tires. We'll see Ben Rhodes also pitting. Jack Wood will come down the pit lane as well. So, Ross, what do you think of basically everybody else staying out?
I believe that's the right call. I think, for your leaders up front, Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Chandler knows he has to win. His team is probably updating him that as Rajah moves through the field, that even cut line they had tied with each other, it's now +7 for Raj, -7 for Chandler, while Chandler runs in second, in contention to win races, all 3 races of this round, but that blown tire at Darlington taking him out of any points scored in that race. Now let's go down to Heather DeBow.
And Ty Majeski running in that 8th position. He was told by his team prior to that last restart that he has advanced on driver's points. So he knows that. However, that driver not happy behind that race truck. He said over the radio, "This is ridiculous." So I checked in with his crew chief, Joe Shear Jr., to find out what he was referring to. And Joe said, "We are just not good in dirty air." So that's something they're going to have to work on for their short track package, especially if they make it to the Final Four in Phoenix.
Now let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the NASCAR Racing Network.
We're back to the Magic Mile on a magical day in Loudon, New Hampshire. The weather is just fantastic. Mark Garrow here alongside Ross Chastain and Pat Patterson. Nick Yeoman over there in turns 1 and 2 and doing yeoman work on pit road. Heather DeBow and Alan Cavana. Again, we're working the 7th yellow flag. As they come by the line, there'll be 44 laps to go. Want to talk about right now, we mentioned Chandler Smith. He's losing ground now. Rajah Caruth, 13th. He's got fresher tires than everybody in front of him, so he's going to be moving up, and that gap is going to be getting further and further, deeper and deeper for Chandler Smith, who now it looks like has to win this race. Corey Heim has won 8 times this year. Boy, does he have incentive today to win number 9. Ties Greg Biffle for the most wins in a single season, and this would be a great time to knock out Chandler Smith. If you can knock Chandler Smith out of this playoff, mister, you don't want to let him into the next round because you could be facing him in Phoenix.
Yeah, those front row motorsports trucks have proven to be so strong. We heard that report from Heather on Ty Majeski, and if you go back to the championship last year at Phoenix, another flat 1 mile track, he won it on older tires in front of Corey Heim, but being in clean air. So Joe Shear Jr. clearly has a truck that works great when it's got downforce on it. We saw that with the 44, Andres Perez earlier, leading laps before contact sent him to pit road. As we look at the choose here, guys, Corey Heim just chose first. Chandler Smith had the second option. He chose to go behind Corey Heim, giving Giro Ruggiero the front row inside of Heim.
So Lane Riggs will line up inside of row 2. To his outside is going to be Chandler Smith. In row 3, inside, Corey LaJoie. Outside, Caden Honeycutt. The next row, inside, Ty Majeski. Grant Enfinger on the outside. And then it's Tyler Ankrum. It looks like it's going to be on the outside of row number 5. And Bailey Curry is going to start on the inside of that row. When they take the green flag, 43 laps to go to decide the winner of the Team EJP 175 and, of course, finish off the 8 drivers that move on to round 2 of the Craftsman Truck Series playoff.
Here we go. Heim getting a big shove there from Chandler Smith. It's Cruz there in the number 17 cars. They head down into turn number 1.
Yeah, Corey Heim's going to try to wrap around turn number 1. He'll take the race lead over Giovanni Ruggiero. Ruggiero's going to try to hold on to the second spot. Looks like he'll do it. Lane Riggs on the bottom, battling with his teammate Chandler Smith for third into turn 3.
Chandler Smith gets a pop in the backside from Caden Honeycutt. That shoots him past Lane Riggs. He's now
trouble in turn number 3. 3 trucks up into the wall. Matt Crafton is one of them. His caution is out once again.
Also, Ben Rhodes, Christian Eckes involved in that wreck as well. Crafton's truck really got the worst of it.
Wow, that was big down in turn number 1. Ross Chastain, looks like Tony Bridinger's car also received some heavy damage to the very front of it, on the beginning of these.
So it wasn't Eckes, it was Tony Bridinger.
Bridinger, yes,
that's on
exactly.
Me.
Yeah, there's Matt. We're looking at Crafton's truck right now, and it is really torn up down there. Really tough afternoon for the 88.
Didn't see how it started, but remember, Matt Craft and Ben Rhodes, 2 trucks that pitted under that last caution, one of only a half dozen or so trucks that did. Heavy damage to both of those ThorSport trucks. Looks like they will be done for the day, as well as Tony Bridinger. His fluids are pouring from the front of her truck. Andres Perez also spun around, didn't get a look to see how much damage he had. Just a terrible turn of events in stage 3 for Andres.
So, again, this is our 8th yellow flag for 45 yellow flag laps and counting here in the Team EJP 175 at New Hampshire. And tough break for Matt Crafton, who had a very strong truck this afternoon. And Ben Rhodes, they had just pitted. They had to feel like, okay, that's the last time. We'll have fresher tires. Let's see what we can do. Sometimes the gamble pays off, and sometimes it doesn't, and clearly for those 2 drivers it didn't. So we're taking a look at a replay, and somebody on the bottom lost control. That was Tony Bridinger. She just lost it on the bottom, and she went flying up the racetrack. Major contact with the safer barrier, and where were Ben Rhodes and our buddy Matt Crafton just riding on the outside, trying to go around her, and she made sure that lane was shut off in a big way.
Yeah, tough to see how it started. Contact at the end of the straightaway. Looks like she gets turned with Ben Rhodes and Matt Crafton 3 wide on the entry to turn 3. She then goes head on into the turn 3 wall, big impact for Tony Breidinger. Rear of that truck coming up off the ground. The two ThorSport trucks also sandwiched up into the wall. All three of those trucks done for the day. But, man, a big impact for Tony. Good to see her give the thumbs up to the safety crew as she walked to the ambulance.
Yeah, her Sunoco truck is pretty well used up right now as they're trying to get that off the racetrack at this particular point. Also trying to get Matt Crafton's wounded machine off the track as well. They'll have to put it on the back end of a wrecker. We'll take a break and come right back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
DIYers, ever start a project thinking that this'll be quick, only for it to be anything but? We've all been there, and that's why you need Craftsman, DIYers' most trusted brand. Craftsman's V20 battery works across drills, saws, trimmers, mowers, and over 100 other products from the house to the backyard and beyond. No dead stops, no refuels, just grab, swap, and get it done. Because your project might fight back, but your tools shouldn't. Head to Craftsman.com to learn more. Craftsman, build on.
The thrills of NASCAR racing from over 55 years of Motor Racing Network broadcasts.
Bobby Allison brings the race car right down in the middle of the track, crosses the start-finish line, and he will win the 24th annual Daytona 500.
Bill Elliott wins the Hooters 500. Alan Kulwicki, 1992 champion.
MRN Classic Races.
And in the whole pack, steaming for the finish line, Dale Earnhardt wins a Winston 500.
Find all the classic moments on MRN Classic Races on any podcast platform.
Under the yellow flag, 39 laps to go here at New Hampshire for the Craftsman Truck Series cutoff race. Shocker, Corey Heim is our leader. From the Magic Mile, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
On Thursdays, NASCAR Live goes wide open with some of the biggest names in the sport.
The goal is the same, so the mindset's the same. All right, the goal is to win the championship.
And some familiar voices that you might not have heard from in a while.
You know, I thought about going to one of these teams because I'd really like to win the 500.
I never planned any of this to start with, right from the very beginning.
No matter what driver or what era is your favorite, NASCAR Live Wide Open has every corner of the fan base covered. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
So under the 8th yellow flag of the afternoon, pause for the cause. What is that cause? The Craftsman. Who's getting it done? Pat, do you have a vote right now? Who's getting it done?
I'll tell you, it has been fun watching this race this afternoon, and I think that when I look at the top 10, I'm still right there with Corey LaJoie this afternoon. I think he's had a good afternoon. I don't think, he's been in the top 5. He's raced up front with those guys, and I think that Corey LaJoie has done a nice job of getting it done this afternoon. I don't know if he can get the finish, but so far I think that he's made a good afternoon with his truck.
So what do you think, Ross?
I got to go to Caden Honeycutt. Had those 2 tires earlier. Did not work for that 52 truck. 4 tires, even with everybody going to choose from 4th here. Give me Caden Honeycutt doing what he needs to do to keep that playoff cut line far behind him.
So as we keep track of that, 42 points above the cut line. Ty Majeski, he's safe. Then you have Daniel Hemrick plus 34, Grant Enfinger plus 20, Caden Honeycutt now plus 17, along with Tyler Ankrum plus 9. Right at the cutoff line is Rajah Caruth, Chandler Smith minus 9, and then minus 24 for Jake Garcia. So as this race, again, we're getting ever closer to the end of this race. It looks more and more like Chandler Smith has got to get it done. But he has also been getting it done just about all afternoon, just can't not, at this point, get by Corey Heim. Your yard isn't overgrown, it's ripe with potential. Conquer whatever it throws at you with a Craftsman V20 brushless RP outdoor lineup. More runtime, better performance, and fewer frustrations. See Craftsman.com for details. So do you have a yard, Ross, that has potential?
I do. It has
full of watermelons, isn't it? I mean,
No, not the yard in North Carolina. We leave the watermelons to my family. They've got that under control. And I've got. I just went to the neighbor and said, "Hey, when you mow your yard, tell me your price. Just mow mine at the same time."
No way. That makes it way too easy.
We just use my Kubota zero turn though for that.
Nice.
Mow both yards.
I like that. Work that.
And are we in Kubota orange for practice and qualifying later on?
We are ready to get that car on track. I keep seeing them all go through tech down in the Cup Garage. A rare Saturday later afternoon practice and qualifying session. Really nice to just get a lay of the land here. Watch the modified race this morning, then the truck race here now. Like you said, beautiful scenery looking out of our booth and ready to get on track later after I've kind of couch raced all morning.
Big break for Andres Perez on that yellow flag. He will get the free pass back to the lead lap. So that bad break is now kind of turned around for him a little bit. We look for him as well as he's run. He led 47 laps in the second stage. So as well as he's run, he should be moving his way towards the front. It's been a full day here at New Hampshire in the Magic Mile. What a finish to the Whelen Modified race. Tyler Ripkema beat Justin Bonsignor on the last lap. Bonsignor had the lead going into turn 3. Mr. Ripkema, Tyler Ripkema. Got to keep saying that until I get it right. He goes into turn 3, bam, gives him a shot, sends him up the racetrack. Short track move, right? Hit him square, didn't turn him, just shot him up the racetrack. And then as they exited turn number 4, Justin Bonsignor tried to make the move around him, and Tyler just decided, I'll use up that part of the racetrack too. So those two crash. They crash against the wall. They're locked together and smoking along the wall. They go across the start-finish line, straight out of Hollywood.
If you're going to get your first win, what better way to get it, right? And he got it right here in front of the biggest crowd of modified fans that you'll ever find anywhere on the East Coast.
And so, again, that we have the Craftsman Truck Series race out in front of us right now, and then scheduled for 3 o'clock Eastern Time, the start of Cup Series practice and qualifying for the Mobile One 301, and that'll come up, obviously, almost as soon as this race ends. And then tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern, PRN's coverage of the Mobile One 301 gets underway.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Going to see what everybody's got this afternoon. You know, Ross, when I think about the practice that you're getting ready to have here in a little while, how much does it help or hurt having all this rubber on for what you have to go through this afternoon?
Well, I'm thankful that the Truck Series is after the Modifieds. Great race this morning, but glad their rubber is long gone, covered up. As we come back to 1 to go here, that rubber, the Goodyear rubber, at least it's the same manufacturer. It's the same company making it. So I look forward to that as Corey Heim and Gio Ruggiero line up on the front row. Nick, what do you see down there?
Yeah, I see drivers trying to clean up those tires. Looks like first 3 on the inside line going to be Ruggiero, Lane Riggs, and then Corey LaJoy. And then some fast trucks on the outside. Corey Heim going to restart as your race leader. The control truck on the outside with Chandler Smith, who, as you guys have documented, it is go time. Needs to win this race. And then Caden Honeycutt, third truck on the outside, who is having an outstanding day as well. They're all behind that Toyota Super Pace car as it heads to turn 3 as we are set to go racing again here in New Hampshire.
So we have Grant Enfinger in the outside line with Tyler Ankrum. Raja Karuth is back there as well. The lights are off. The Toyota Supra Pace car. Eric Johnson at the controls today for NASCAR. He's about to hit the pit lane. We're about to go green with only 33 laps to go in the Team EJP 175. And again, they're about to enter the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. Every car, happy owner, Echo Park Automotive.
Corey Heim getting a big shove from the 38 as they head to turn 1, Nick.
Yep, Corey Heim's going to get swifted up off the bottom of the racetrack and runs, though, right in the middle with that momentum and that push from Chandler Smith. Smith's got it reared up. He runs down the back straightaway, pulls even with Giovanni Ruggiero, now passes him as they head into turn 3.
Lane Riggs now putting pressure on Ruggiero for the third spot. Caden Honeycutt looking on, as well as Corey LaJoy and Grant Enfinger. Meanwhile, Chandler Smith now will take his shot at leader Corey Heim. They cross the stripe with 32 to go.
In a situation where he has to win, the only problem is the truck he has to pass the most dominant driver in this sport. That's Corey Heim. Heim's advantage, a healthy 2 to 3 truck lengths lengths off of turn number 2. Chandler Smith digging down the back straightaway. Move Lane Riggs to third as he gets around Giovanni Ruggiero.
45, number 45 with a restart violation there as the field is down in turns 1 and 2. Here comes Heim once again off of turn number 4. He'll continue to hold about a 4-truck lead off of second place Smith.
Everybody single file down the front straightaways. They set up for turn number 1. Chandler Smith drives it in really deep. He took a shot at Corey Heim. He's going to give up a bunch at corner exit. Heim's going to maintain about a 3-truck length advantage. Chandler Smith, though, getting aggressive out here in turn 1.
They've broken away from Gio Ruggiero, who's struggling just a bit. Caden Honeycutt is right there with him, with Grant Enfinger, Corey LaJoie. That is a 4-car fight for the 4th spot. The lead trio, though, has left as Bailey Curry is about to serve his penalty after that restart violation.
Looks like there was a truck up against the outside wall spinning around there, guys, exiting turn number 4. Looks like it's the 42 truck of Matt Mills. We'll say, looks like we stay green as for now as the leaders go down the backstretch.
It looks like that Mills is going to get his truck onto the pit road, so they'll hold the green flag, battle up front. Once again, it's Corey Heim by about 4 to 5 truck lengths now. Riggs starting to close in on Chandler Smith here, trying to catch his way back up to run for second.
Yeah, that is terrible news for Chandler Smith. He needs to win this race, and he's got to worry about his teammate who is looking very fast into turn number 1. Those two teammates separated by about a car length. Smith running the middle of the racetrack. Lane Riggs all the way on the bottom. Chandler Smith will hold off Lane Riggs down the back straightaway.
Need to document that Rajah Caruth restarted 21st 2 yellow flags ago. He has worked his way finally into the top 10. Just lost that spot to Christian Eckes, but right now he is 9 points above the cut line. Chandler Smith, Nick, has got to track down Corey Heim.
Yeah, that's what we call breathing room for Rajah Caruth and panic mode for Chandler Smith, who again has a very, very fast truck. His run of the top 5 for most of this day. The problem is he has been staring at the rear of Corey Heim all day long back into turn 3.
Up front, those 3 run nose to tails, a long way back to the 4th position there of Gio Ruggiero. Good battle, though, behind that group as we watch Enfinger and LaJoie and Majeski working their way off the corner and down the front stretch.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Corey LaJoie has had a nice day. This is the battle just outside of the top 5. It is 4-6. LaJoie looks to the inside of Caden Honeycutt, who leaves the door open, trying to use the momentum on the outside of turn number 2, but Corey LaJoie is there. They're even down the back straightaway.
He draws alongside the driver's door of Caden Honeycutt at the entry to turn 3. He, of course, trying to hold the bottom of the track, and now as they work out a 4, big run from the outside from Honeycutt. He's able to hold on to that spot as they cross the granite stripe and head back to 1.
Yeah, Corey LaJoie's been stacking those pennies and trying to stack his way to the front of the field. He'll watch Caden Honeycutt run really high into turn number 1. Again, leaving the bottom of the racetrack open for Corey LaJoie. LaJoie, though, doesn't have the run this time up off of turn 2.
Can't make anything happen this time midway down the backstretch. Meanwhile, looking a little further up front, Riggs trying to close in on the second position of Chandler Smith. Looks like he takes 2 steps forward and 1 step back there, Nick, as he tries to close in for that battle.
Yeah, and I think you could say similar for the battle for the race lead, as Corey Heim is just starting to inch his way away from Chandler Smith, this time off of turn number 2. Heim's advantage about 6 truck lengths over Smith, another 4 or 5 back to Lane Riggs in third.
So when they come back across the stripe, 24 laps to go. Why is Chandler Smith in this position? He's won 2 races this year, Bristol and Rockingham, but he's coming off his 2nd consecutive 30th place finish after a problem with the ECU at Bristol. That, of course, with the engine, a DNF at Darlington as well. So this is a team that probably thought, you know what, if we run just kind of average, we're going to move into the second round. Did not see 2 DNFs, 2 30th place finishes coming like that.
No, and in the Truck Series, in the Craftsman Truck Series, it just doesn't allow you to do that, to have 2. He had enough points coming into this round to have 1. He used that up at Darlington. They did not have the buffer for the ECU to have an issue at Bristol. So no, he's a top 4 truck, a second place running truck today. But I'd say just across the season, he's been in that top 4 battle all year long. Shame to see the points difference that he's got right now, but this race is not over, guys, as we come back to 22 laps to go this time.
And he also fell into the situation where the guy out front has absolutely zero reason for cutting him a break. if Corey Heim wins this race, he denies Chandler Smith a chance to move on in the playoff, and I think that's a very dangerous trucking driver. So if you can put him out early, it's kind of like when Joey Logano got knocked out at Bristol, 2 years ago? Same thing. If you can get a guy like that out early, you get him out.
I haven't seen a driver in the top 3 levels of NASCAR ever cut anybody a break, let alone that you'll take one of your top competitors out of the next round of the playoffs.
Let's take a look at the top 10 as we go to break here. Corey Heim out in front of Chandler Smith. It's Lane Riggs, Gio Ruggiero, Grant Enfinger, Caden Honeycutt, Corey LaJoy, Tom Majeski, Christian Eckes, and Rajah Caruth.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, Two Dudes in a Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, that's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
NASCAR history.
Petty wins his 200th career NASCAR victory.
Told by the people who made that history.
President Reagan was there. He got us on the front page, and we got him in the sports page. It was a good trade-off from that standpoint.
Motor Racing Network's NASCAR Live presents podcast The Road to Royalty. Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career, 50 Years of MRN, the 1993 season, Junior's Journey, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
From the Magic Mile at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Inspiring story.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes back to the Daytona International Speedway. He will win the Pepsi 400.
I'm just a pilot, man. I just want everybody to be happy. I want to do good, and hopefully all of my dad's fans enjoyed this. It's for all them.
Motor Racing Network's NASCAR Live presents podcast Junior's Journey. Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career, 50 Years of MRN, the 1993 season, The Road to Royalty, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Corey Heim about to cross the start-finish line yet again as the leader. 16 laps to go. So glad you could join us here on the NASCAR Racing Network. We will take you to the checkered flag here commercial-free. Let's pick up Corey Heim in turn one.
And again, the advantage continues to grow. It's not by much, but every lap he puts about another half a truck length, maybe a full truck length between himself and Chandler Smith. This time into turn 3, call it 12 truck lengths.
Yeah, you just can't stop what you see in front of you. Haven't been able to do it all year long. Right now, though, Chandler Smith hoping that something will change. Corey Heim gets a little tail happy off turn 4. Here he comes back to the stripe.
Yeah, that's a great point, Pat. It's not like that Corey Heim is taking it easy here in these closing laps. That truck is sideways a lot of times through turns 1 and 2. He likes it loose. He likes it fast. That's why he's won so many races this year. The advantage still healthy over Chandler Smith.
About to be 14 to go. Ross, nothing going good for Chandler Smith. He's in second. Heim is creeping away. And as Corey Heim looks out his windshield, he's got a lot of clear racetrack up ahead.
Yeah, just a few lap trucks ahead. Guys that have had issues will not put up much of a fight at all. And, yeah, for Chandler Smith, you're just watching your biggest competitor drive away. That's your main barrier into the next round of the playoffs.
Now let's take a look at that battle for fourth spot in turn 2.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good battle as we see Grant Enfinger running much higher up off the racetrack than Caden Honeycutt. They'll go nose to tail down the back straightaway. Probably the best battle right now, guys, inside the top 10. Enfinger's got it as they head to turn number 3.
Enfinger working with a new crew chief today. That's big for them. They hope to have a nice top 5 run today, and it looks like they've got that at least so far. here they come back to the stripe.
Yeah, I would say a safe day for Grant Enfinger. Came into this weekend pretty good on points, just needed a solid day, and he is certainly having that. Caden Honeycutt digging hard on the bottom off of turn number 2. That yellow and black machine of Enfinger so strong enough to hold them off down the back straightaway.
Enfinger 20 points above the cut line. He just needs to settle in and finish this race. He's in great shape. Now we've got just 12 laps to go here at New Hampshire.
Back into turn number 1. It is still Corey Heim by about 10 car lengths over Chandler Smith. Smith, no threat to be challenged by the third-place running truck of Lane Riggs. Then Giovanni Ruggiero, who's had a great day running in 4th. And then that battle for 5th that we've talked about, Enfinger and Honeycutt. It settles down this time off of turn 2.
So as they come down to the granite stripe one more time, 11 laps to go in this race. Can somehow Chandler Smith get a miracle on the Magic Mile, track down Corey Heim to make his way into the second round?
Well, his hope right now is that some of this lap traffic holds him up, and the lap traffic is battling. That is Jack Wood and the 42 machine of Matt Mills. They were nose to tail into turn number 1, but Corey Heim just too fast. Got around both of those lap trucks in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mentioned real quick that Stuart Friesen back at the racetrack this weekend. Want to be sure to give a big shout out to him. Great to see Stuart here, and great to see, I'm sure, his truck running strong here. Once again, here's the leader back to the stripe.
Yeah, and it looked like the second-place truck of Chandler Smith got held up by that lap traffic, so that was bad news for Smith. Great news for Corey Heim as he continues to charge away with the race lead. It's up to about 14 car lengths down the backstretch.
9 laps to go next time by for Corey Heim. He's got some clear racetrack, and maybe 2 or 3 laps he'll get to the back of the pack in some of these cars back there. But Heim, again, looking smooth, still creeping away ever so slightly from Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith, completely frustrated at this point, has nothing for Corey Heim.
Yeah, his championship hopes are getting smaller and smaller, just like Corey Heim's truck is as he looks out of the windshield of that 38 truck off of turn number 2. Continues to dig. Give Chandler Smith a lot of credit. He is pushing hard. Just doesn't have anything right now for Corey Heim.
Heim's definitely going to catch some of the lap traffic here as he works his way through 3 and 4 here at the Magic Mile. Back to the front. 8 laps remain here in this one today at New Hampshire.
Just saw Jack Wood come down to pit lane. Looks like he had a tire rub, but all attention for the folks in the grandstands here in turns 1 and 2 is the battle for the race lead. Corey Heim has it off of turn number 2. Chandler Smith and that yellow and blue machine charging up off of turn number 2. Time to start throwing Hail Marys here in the closing laps at New Hampshire.
So Bailey Curry is back there at the back of the pack. Heim will be catching up to him. Spencer Boyd is there as well. Here is Heim now looking to the inside of Spencer Boyd. He'll get by as Boyd moves to the outside. We've got only 7 laps to go.
Yeah, Corey Heim's truck has been very good on the bottom of the racetrack. Just needs this lap traffic to stay high. They are doing that and cooperating right now as he sweeps to the inside of Blake Lothian down the back straightaway. Heim still looking good back into turn 3.
Chandler Smith trying to kind of stay within sight here just in case anything goes wrong whatsoever with Heim up front. Call it about, 15 truck lengths between those two as we come to 6 to go here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, visually I do think Chandler Smith has closed a bit as they both try to navigate through this lap traffic. Again, not close enough to get alongside Corey Heim or maybe even to make him sweat, but certainly I do think on the stopwatch it is shrinking a little bit. Chandler Smith hustles his way past some more lap traffic down the back straightaway.
Bailey Curry up ahead. He had that unfortunate penalty. He was running in the top 10, had a restart violation, so he moves by some slower trucks as they work their way out of 4. Heim to the line. 5 to go. Heim, the gap back to Chandler Smith is now 1 full second.
It has just been a remarkable season for Corey Heim, and you guys touched on the great point. So often when drivers are safe in these playoff races, we wonder, okay, are they going to work and try different strategies? Corey Heim is out here trying to knock guys out, especially competitors like Chandler Smith, who hustles underneath another lap car in turn 3.
Chandler Smith can clearly see the leader. Can he close in even more now off of turn number 4? Here's Smith digging for all he's worth. 4 laps to go here in New Hampshire.
Chandler Smith is not giving up. This time into turn number 1, he's got it down to about 6 truck lengths. He is closing on Corey Heim. Rear end of Heim's truck steps out a little bit at the exit of turn number 2. Chandler Smith trying to put the pressure on in the closing laps.
The gap has been cut to 7/10, so Chandler Smith gained 0.2 of a second that last lap. Doing the math, that gets him to Corey Heim. But can he pass him? Out of turn 4, Heim across the stripe. Just 3 miles to go here at New Hampshire.
Back into turn number 1. One more lap car for Corey Heim to clear. It's the 45 machine of Bailey Curry, who's really running right in the middle of the racetrack, and I think that's the line that Corey Heim wants. Heim's going to have to trim it short out of turn number 2, battling with that lap car down the backstretch.
Heim goes to the whip now, and he'll make that move around so he can clear himself and have nothing but clean racetrack now. Midway through 3 and 4, here comes Corey Heim back to the stripe. Only 2 more laps to settle it up here in New Hampshire today.
Boy, the sand is running out of the hourglass for Chandler Smith. He has to get around the lap truck and has to run down and pass Corey Heim. This time into turns 1 and 2. It's about a 6 truck length advantage. Chandler Smith going as low as you possibly can through turns 1 and 2. Still not close enough to challenge Heim.
Heim looks through the windshield to turn 3. Nothing there. Looks in his rear view mirror, and there's hardly a dot in the back there. That's Chandler Smith. Has just 1 lap left to somehow pull out a miracle here on the Magic Mile. White flags out. Heim goes to 1 for the final time.
Fans salute Corey Heim as he heads into turn number 1 for the final time. The advantage over Chandler Smith is a healthy 7 truck lengths off of turn number 2. Pull out the cell phones, check the wristwatches. Looks like it's Heim time again, fellas. Corey Heim into turn 3 for the final time.
Corey Heim has had another one of those afternoons when he just cannot be beat. He comes out of turn number 4. Heim is going to take his 9th win of the season. He comes to the checkered flag here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway and picks up the win.
And he denies Chandler Smith a chance to make the second round. Chandler Smith has been knocked out. So has Jake Garcia. So Corey Heim gets his 9th win of the season, ties Greg Biffle for the most wins, the record in a single season, and he denies one of the fastest trucks on the Craftsman Truck Series a chance to move on in the championship chase.
The year was 1993. The NASCAR Cup Series season kicked off with the Dale and Dale show at the Daytona 500.
Dale Jarrett's got the lead. He goes to the inside. Earnhardt's not going to get him. Dale Jarrett is going to win the Daytona 500 by STP. Earnhardt second.
The 1993 NASCAR Cup Series season. All the highs and lows. Relive them all on MRN's exclusive podcast, The 1993 Season. Available on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
We're at the start-finish line.
William Byron on pole position. Green flag is out and we're racing.
We're in the turn.
Here to the inside comes Kyle Larson. He and Hamlin bump.
We're on pit road.
4 tires Sonoma Racing Fuel. The race out from pit road is Denny Hamlin. Eric Jones goes off.
We are live from the track. The Motor Racing Network, your home for NASCAR racing. Don't miss a lap, pit stop, or side-by-side race for the win. Listen to all the play-by-play action on your local radio station at MRN or NASCAR.com. NASCAR Live Race Day continues on the NASCAR Racing Network.
Thank you for joining us here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We saw a great cutoff race. No surprise, Corey Heim won it, but I am shocked. If you had asked me before the start of the Craftsman Truck Series playoff, and somebody told me Chandler Smith doesn't make it past round 1, I went, no way. I would not have believed that.
I agree, Mark. Just so much speed out of that front row motorsports team, but not enough with 2 finishes worse than 30th in this round of 3 races. Not good enough to make it to the next round.
So, Ross, now you're going to jump down out of the booth. You're going to go practice and qualify the Kubota Chevrolet. We won't be able to miss it. It's going to be all orange out there on the racetrack in the bright sunshine here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So, you're going to let us in on the fact now that you have some kind of secret weapon in setup. You're going to win the pole, and, you know, they drop the rag tomorrow, you're gone.
Maybe we put what's in that 11 truck. I think it would work in any vehicle, I swear, on these NASCAR tracks. But, man, it's been a lot of work for us at Trackhouse. Obviously, to transfer through last week to this round of 12 is a big deal for us. We lost my teammate Shane, but we'll move on. And we did the tire test for Goodyear for Chevy up here earlier in the summer. So definitely a lot of laps ran those 2 days a few months ago, over 700 laps for our Chevy car around here, all different tire compounds. They settled on one, and we've got those notes, and we share those amongst the Chevy group to try to put a bunch of Chevys up front. So if we made the right decisions from that test, I believe we can go really fast this weekend.
Two last things for Ross Chastain. Good luck in qualifying and the race tomorrow, and thank you for being part of the broadcast today.
Always glad to be up here with you guys. A lot of fun. I think it was the warmest spot in New Hampshire in the booth today, so definitely a lot of fun calling these races. And, hey, I did dress for radio today, so I'll tell them myself. Gym shorts and a T-shirt.
All right, Ross, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's go down trackside to Alan Cavana.
And Raja Caruth is looking at the left rear of his truck. Maybe a little damage there, but you race your way in to the next round. Maybe a little more drama than you wanted. What was this race like for you? You make it in on points.
Yeah, Alan. Definitely was obviously looking at, focusing on our race, but also seeing where the 38 was running and knowing I had to gain points on the 52. So it was kind of best case scenario, 38 didn't win, and we got good stage points, and I don't know where we ended up in reference to the 52, but just proud of my HendrickCars.com and Spire team. We just kept getting better, and the truck was decent. I don't feel like 10th was really indicative of where we should have finished, but that's just kind of how it went with how the tires were today, how those cautions fell, and our strategy. But just proud of the work, and thankful for Mr. H, Miss Linda, everybody at GM and Chevrolet for our tools, and Spire and everybody for building decent trucks for us.
Raja Caruth finishes 10 points above the cut line. Survive and advance. Heather?
And Lane Riggs had already advanced to the next round via his win at Bristol. Today he brings it home third. You guys brought your baseline setup for Phoenix. Do you feel like you had something that you needed, or are you going to need more come that final round, should you make it to the Final Four?
I wouldn't say it was quite like Phoenix, but I don't know. I feel like this was a solid day. It wasn't the truck's fault, just the chassis and truck itself. I just kind of missed the setup. So never been here before. I feel like the sim didn't really 100% correlate, so that kind of screwed me up in practice, and just kind of missed the front end. Didn't really turn as good as it needed to all day. So we were a third place truck. We did what we were supposed to do and finished third. Trying to be a good teammate, trying to help Chandler get in. I wish he could have got the win, considering, but just glad that both front row motorsports trucks were fast at the end and in contention for it.
That's solid top 5 here for Lane Riggs. Alan?
Uneventful is the best way to describe Tyler Ankram's race, and that's just what you needed to advance to the next round of the playoffs. How tough was it out there today, knowing we haven't been here in a long, long time?
It was really tough. We weren't very good to start the day, or really just stuck all day long. Weren't very good, so that was unfortunate for us to really perform like that. We wanted to come here and do good. Just got to get a lot better here in the next week before we go to Roval and try to make it to Phoenix.
Some things to work on. Most important, though, he is still in the playoffs. That's Tyler Ankram. Heather?
And Chandler Smith, unfortunately not making it to the next round, but you finished second. Seemed like you did just about everything you could other than win this race. I know it probably stings in this moment right now, but what's something that you're proud of your performance with you and your team today?
It stings, but it doesn't. It wasn't in the Lord's will, and I'm going to be obedient to him, so I'm super, super grateful for this blessing of an opportunity to meet all the men that's been a part of this group that we assembled so late preseason. They've all impacted me in ways I don't think they'll ever understand. And I pulled them together before the race. We prayed together, told them, hey, no matter the outcome today, it don't define our season, don't define what we've been doing. So I'm grateful. I'm very thankful for everybody on this team. Yeah, it's okay. It's honestly okay. At the end of the day, I'm still racing cars for a living. I'm going to go back home. Got my wife and kids right here with me, and got my whole team that's got my back, and I got theirs. We move on to the next race.
A very positive outlook there for the rest of the season for Chandler Smith, who unfortunately does not advance to the round of 8.
2 30th place finishes and a runner-up adds up to 10 points below the cut line. And, again, I never would have guessed that. Chandler Smith should have been one of those guys you would pick automatically to move on to the next round, but that's why they call it racing. Things happen. Let's go back down to Heather DeBow.
And Giro Ruggiero brings it home with a top 5 finish here. You guys had some speed. Your crew chief told me today that you were better than you qualified. It sure showed out on track. How would you summarize your day today?
Yeah, it was a good day. I thought we had a really strong truck. Was really happy with the truck this weekend. I think definitely had a top 3 truck there, especially at the end of the race. Definitely was a bit of a track position race. Just a little too cautious on those restarts around the playoff guys, and lost some track position there. But was really proud of our effort and just want to move forward and try to win another one.
That's Gio Ruggiero who brings it home fourth. Now let's send it over to Victory Lane with Alan Cavana.
A very wet Victory Lane. Everybody's celebrating win number 9 on the season. Let's start there because that ties a record. To have that sort of season still going, Corey Heim, what's that mean to you?
It means the world. I mean, looking back 5 years ago in my career, I could have never imagined that I was, first of all, even in the Truck Series, but, nonetheless being able to compete or tie for a record. So just says so much about all the hard work this TrackOn organization puts in with their partnership with Toyota and Safelite. Just so honored to be a part of it, and so much preparation on my side as well to live up to the equipment that's given to me. So just had a little bit of an upper leg on these guys coming to New Hampshire last year and having a cup test a couple weeks ago, but knew that we were going to have a good shot at it and wanted to live up. So that's what we did.
None of this is easy. You may make it look easy, but what was your biggest challenge today out there?
Just track position, really. We got a little bit fortunate with the way the caution fell in stage 2 to kind of re-rack and be, second or third in the choose with our awesome pit crew, give us an opportunity at that. So being able to get by the 44 there before the end of stage 2 was kind of the difference maker, I thought. When I was on the fresher tires at the start of stage 2 trying to catch those guys, it was almost impossible to pass them even with better tires. So that helped a lot, and just kind of finished the job off.
Win number 9. It's time in New Hampshire. Heather?
And Ty Majeski brings it home fifth today. Advanced on points prior to the checkered flag, but you did have some struggles with the the truck, especially in dirty air. What do you guys need to work on moving forward with that?
I wish I knew. It's not a balance issue. It's not loose or tight. We're just kind of four-wheel sliding in traffic. Really frustrating because there's nothing that we can do at the racetrack to help it. So I don't know. Gonna have to go back to the shop and think about it. We have a lot of good people at ThorSport, and we'll be able to figure it out. It's just a frustrating day. Started off promising, and once the field flipped, our day just turned upside down, and really took me all day to fight back to where we did. All those yellows didn't help me. If we could have had a green flag run, I probably could have picked my way through there a little bit quicker. But those restarts just killed me, and really needed the race to sort of develop and everybody get single file before my truck would show.
That's Ty Majeski who brought it home fifth today.
By the way, Corey Heim and Lane Riggs have now won the last 8. The scorecard, 5 for Heim, 3 for Lane Riggs. And we just lost everything here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So we were going to bring you a full field rundown. Sorry, we can't do that. So you can go to goprn.com, NASCAR.com, pick up that final finishing order. But we did document that Chandler Smith, Jake Garcia, unfortunately, were the 2 drivers who did not make the round 1 cut.
Yeah, it's been a good race, I thought, overall, Mark. I thought that it was what we thought it would be, and that is that Corey Heim would have the fastest truck. I think Chandler Smith did everything he could with what he had to work with to get up there and challenge for it. Hate to see anybody drop out of the championship chase, but this one moves on. Next up, the Roval. That's going to be a very interesting race for these guys, and I really believe that, once again, you got Riggs, you got Heim. Who are the other 2 that perhaps join them in Phoenix to win it all?
It'll be interesting to see how this Craftsman Truck Series playoff plays out. So, want to remind you, coming up in under 20 minutes, we've got Cup Series practice and qualifying here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And then our coverage of the Mobile One 301 gets underway tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Want to thank our pit reporters, Alan Cavana and Heather DeBoe in the turns, Nick Yeoman, and, of course, Harold Hamrick, Bill Parrott, Scott Hollingsworth, our engineers, our director, Laura Beth Barnhart, production, Kent Bernhardt, sales and marketing, Alexis Erickson, Hank Lee, Barry Roach, David Stiles, and Caleb Whistler. Our senior VP and general manager is Jerry Horn. For Ross Chastain, Pat Patterson, I'm Mark Arrow saying so long from New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
NASCAR Racing Network's coverage of the EJP 175 has come to you from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Brought to you by Craftsman. Runs long, works great, won't slow you down. The Craftsman V20 brushless RP lineup, built for the backyard and beyond. See craftsman.com for details. By GoodRx. For simple, smart savings on your prescriptions, go to goodrx.com. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com. And by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco fuels peak performance. Our coverage has come to you under an exclusive radio license granted by New Hampshire Motor Speedway to the NASCAR Racing Network, solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any use of the description and accounts of this event without the express written permission of the NASCAR Racing Network is prohibited. This broadcast was a production of the NASCAR Racing Network.